Dragapult EXs and 2 Ogerpon Teal Max EXs.
Sick.
Which is fun. We also have 3 Miraidon EXs, which is also a good deck, and a Giratina V-Star, that's from prize packs. I'm trying to think what else we have that's really cool. We pulled 2 of the not super expensive Mews from 151, which is really funny. So they're shiny Mews from the Fates deck.
Nice.
Or I think it's called like Shining Fates or something like that. But
Fates, I think.
The best ones though is we pulled the Toad's Cool and the full art Toad's Cruel from the same set. But one of my other favorites is this one because it's all the Tatsugiris that we have in this card.
I maybe forgot that
Look at these guys.
I made this podcast look nicer, which meant that I technically need more time to do things. But we won't worry about that. There's nothing scuffed this week. Everything's exactly as it was last week. We don't have to worry about it.
Bet.
No, it looks fine. Nothing looks...
Okay.
So, I forgot that there is one thing that I should honestly just do in bulk ahead of time, which is adjust the information card that has what episode we watched for the week. So, like, I have 10 of those I just didn't edit yet. On top of an actual thumbnail for this video. So whoopsies, I'll do the thumbnail after. That doesn't matter. It's just the thumbnail's gonna be the same as last week for now until I change it. If I change it, I will change it. And then I have a suitable substitute for the other problem. We're all good. We're fine. Hello everybody. We're live. Welcome. It be like this.
Guys, wait real quick. Look, it's Jomp on his way to burn down some kid's house for bullying his friends.
Is that very dragon?
Yeah,
we're gonna get there.
I love Pokemon Pokédex entries. Because there's some nonsense. There's some absolute nonsense
silly
in there.
things.
Are you ready?
I love Drampa just going and burning down kids' houses.
Are you ready to watch me drink 4 different drinks during this podcast?
Spencer Agnew, is that you?
Happens to be a murderer.
Well, while Sean introduces, I'm gonna get some more water.
Okay, well, everybody's here but John now.
Don't make any sense.
No,
Like how Gardevoir makes
he's
black
gotta do
holes.
this so he can
How
tap-
Magcargo is the temperature of the surface of the sun.
Well,
you know,
welcome.
These make sense.
Welcome, everybody. We're live. 'Tis the season, the fall season of 2024. We have watched episodes 4 and 5 because you might have noticed we weren't live last week. And that also means it's our classic or patented double vote off week. Austin, congrats, you get to experience your first double vote off.
That's so soon.
Who knows what's going to happen? Honestly, this is usually the week it happens when it does, is the second week. It's like the second or third week usually. We either double up on week 2, 3, or on week 3, 4, I feel like. And then we usually do it again like 5, 6, or 6, 7. Those are like the only times we ever do it. But yeah, so reminder, shows that we have left on this podcast are Donadon, Sumo Show, Blue Box, Mecha Ude, Let This Grieving Soul Retire, we will. Do Over Damsel. I'm going to show you something in a hot minute that I think is going to aptly show that I do indeed know that. Do Over Damsel, All Guys Mixer, Orb on the Movements of Earth, or About the Movements of Earth, who knows. Yakuza Fiance, and Negative Positive Angler. Those are our 10 shows we have left. Not only did we vote Hagakura off last week, we've also sent to the Shadow Realm. It's not allowed to exist past episode 8 for who fucking knows how long.
It's an internal retirement, like that one show I had on the podcast last season.
Which one?
Well, the one Yuri romance show.
Yeah, John, I got good news for you. It's finally airing episodes 11 and 12 in December this year.
Amber, they're finally airing episodes 11 and 12 of that show you watched.
Whisper of the Heart?
Whisper Me a Love Song.
Whisper Me a Love
Whisper Me a Love Song.
Don't get confused with Whisper of the Heart. That's a good movie.
Yeah. Which, you would know that information if you tuned in, here's the plug, to my new bi-weekly anime news podcast that I did on Thursday, for no good reason besides I felt like it.
Journalism guy does journalism.
It's
crazy.
I run through 2 weeks worth of news. It takes no time at all. And then I run through everything I'm watching and reading. Takes no time at all. And then I pick a couple of things I want to talk about to put at the very end of the episode. Great structure on my part. Where then I just talk about them. That first episode I talked about Bleach because I read all of Bleach. I talked about Elusive Samurai because I'm actively reading it and have thoughts on it. And actively reading means like I'm 130 something chapters into it. And I talked about Oshinoko in a much larger sense than just me talking about it. Because people are silly when it comes to that. So I gave some thoughts over there. But you can check that out. There's a VOD for that. I need to put in the description of that VOD the music playlist I was listening to but muted. So that people can listen to it at the start of that stream, and so that it syncs up when I go to talk about what I've been watching, and I go to talk about Shangri-La Frontier, the Shangri-La Frontier opening plays, which is really fucking funny, and I lose my mind. Yeah, no, I can't make that shit up. But I talk about the stuff I was doing over there. Only thing I will say that I haven't gotten to talk about real quick before I open it to if you guys want to talk briefly or we just want to dive in. You and I are polar opposites ended today. Very fucking stellar final chapter. What it chooses to do for its final chapter is great in a narrative sense. There is one thing that I think fans are probably upset about. It's fine. I'm not beat up about not getting something. That manga could have gone for like another 40 chapters, I think. Also totally fine to end it where it ends. It's getting an anime in January of 2026. So 2 of you are legally not allowed to read it until then.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, we got to figure out who that's going to be.
It's already on my favorites on Viz. It's been on there for like 7 months.
But if you're reading it on Viz, you have to wait.
Austin read it 4 years ago, probably. Before it was even like announced. Austin like knows the author.
Well, I know he hasn't finished it because we talked. Unless he went back and finished it since the last time we talked.
No, I haven't, but
Yeah.
I mean, I've been reading other stuff that were voted off the show previously, so.
Yeah. Only other thing I want to quick mention is that Girl Meets Rock is back on Manga Plus. They brought it back up. Should be noted, they brought it back up with all the song titles I think slightly changed, and all the bits where they sing the lyrics completely blacked out. So it just says lyrics and then there's black bars. Which is someone who did not read this manga until literally all of yesterday. It actually didn't bother me. I can imagine if you read that manga and you read the lyrics to like a King Gnu song and they're just not there anymore, that probably upsets you. I understand that the whole point of that manga is that they're into cool Japanese rock and you get to see the lyrics of all your cool Japanese rock songs. That manga's really good. But outside of that, I will leave it up to you guys about if you want to talk anything briefly about what you've been up to.
I mean, I can start.
I can go last. I got a good story.
Oh no.
Fair.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah, you do.
We know
I
what
got the
this
good
is.
one.
Speaking of rocks.
Yeah. Damn it. So, I got hired for a new job this week. I'm going to be running a store for a company that I've worked for before. I'm very excited for it because I'm not going to have to deal with dogs anymore. It's a traumatic experience with dogs. It's not fun. I read One's new manga.
Oh,
That
did
is,
you read all of it or just?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I think I've only read the first 2.
I have
I
not
read
read
the
chapters.
first 4.
I have not read 3 and 4 yet. I imagine it gets
like,
wilder.
These
is.
chapters take time to decompress after you finish these. Bucky goes bonkers.
It is insane. Bug Ego is wild. Also, new Black Clover chapters since we last had podcast. That
Yeah.
manga's fucking incredible. This is just good.
Good.
Um,
Good fight.
How deep is it into how many chapters are out total for that?
like 370 something.
I'll get
I think it
you
was
the exact
380
number.
something. We just.
Oh, it might be 380.
374. Okay, I don't actually know what number.
Yeah.
376. I don't know why it's. Oh, okay. Why did it say 74? I've read through 76. Whatever.
Aside from that, new TFT set came out, so I've been learning that. That's been interesting. It's currently been an eighth or first kind of angle every single time. There's no in between. So it's been
TFT.
yeah, it's TFT. Aside from that, I've not really been doing too much. I played some more Hades 2. Had a very insane run the other night because I got there was one run that I got like 8 different duo boons, and then another run that I got 2 different legendary boons. One was a chaos boon. The other was the Hephaestus one. So went a little crazy. It was a good time. Yeah, no, not been up to a whole lot recently. Austin, Michael.
So me too. I haven't done like a whole lot of like stuff. Like I've been playing unhealthy amounts of Call of Duty. You know that's just kind of what happens.
Which I want you to
Um,
know, we talked about Game Award nominations, and Michael went, that game shouldn't be in certain spots. He's like, I
It's only
played too
nomi-
much
it's
of
only-
it.
I mean, action game. Sure, I think there's other games that are better as action games.
I'm trying to think,
Zenless Zone Zero.
what was the one you got? You were like, definitely should not be here.
Audio design. That game's audio design is absolutely atrocious. There are no audio sliders. For some reason, the only audio slide you have is master volume. Then you have like 6 audio presets that all sound the same. And everyone I play with, minus one person, has the same problem that footsteps are completely inaudible in the game, which is a really big problem.
The Apex experience.
Right.
But yeah, that's been a time. That game is. So I'm like halfway, a little. I haven't counted. I'm like half-ish way through the multiplayer camo grind in that game because it's really fast compared to old games. Like I think it was yesterday. I was fucking around with stuff. Cause this about like 2-3 weeks ago. One of my favorite video games of all time. Had an update where they added a VR mode to it. They like, I think like 5-6 days ago, they like, I'm gonna zip about 2 weeks ago. They like did a proper update, like adding a like non-beta version to the game.
I know what it is.
Bugsnax VR is now a thing.
My
So I was playing around with that a little bit.
This isn't a bit,
Bugsnax
by the way.
VR.
This man loves Bugsnax.
It's a good game. It's a
Love
good video game.
Bugsnax.
I forget that Bugsnax exists until it gets mentioned again.
It's a
then you-
philosophical
like, it
experience,
is the
right?
game.
It's so good. It's such a good game. Like it's one. Every character is adorable. All the snacks, they're good little guys, good little fellas. The actual like character drama they built to some of these characters, like legitimately really well done. And it's just a good puzzle game. Because it's just a game about like solving the puzzle of how do I catch this strawberry that's right here? What am I gonna do to get that guy? How am I gonna catch this giant flying ramen dragonfly? Yes, that is one of the ones in the post game area. Those
We
guys
love
are
that for you.
silly.
Now you can experience it in VR.
Yeah, now you can pep the bug snack.
Now you can become the Bugsnax.
God, I really haven't done anything outside of that. That's
That's
crazy.
fine.
I mean, I played Lethal Company, but like, Lethal Company with emote mods is really silly.
Ooh.
You're like, oh, I'm scared. Nah, just kidding. Sexy saxophone. I'm actually no longer scared. As you just sprint through locations, giving 0 fucks about anything.
I saw this one like YouTube short of a guy that just did like a whole choreographed dance to one of the Michael Jackson songs. I can't remember what it is. Like in Lethal
Oh,
Company.
Billie
It's like-
Jean.
Yeah. It was honestly impressive, but it couldn't be me. I have been slowly chugging my way through, as I alluded to earlier, the light novel of a show that got voted off in the winter. Unnamed Memory.
Wow.
Oh.
This is the last volume, and like I've been sitting on like 5 out of 6 volumes completed for like a year, and I just like haven't gotten around to actually like finishing it, and now I'm like part of the way through. It's almost there. Not
Oh,
anymore.
yeah.
Getting started and trying to remember like everything that happened in like the previous books has been the reason why it's coming along so slow, but also getting like majorly distracted by watching Pokemon and various other things. What else have I done? Uh, did like a little Apex custom with some VTubers I like yesterday. Got 1 kill. That's all I was there for.
We take those.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
we totally take those.
You got
And
your one.
I did like 10 damage to that guy. He was like literally like a breath and he was going to die. So,
Hey,
you know,
still counts.
still counts.
Still counts.
And spent a lot of the past like 3 weekends watching Arcane with my other buddy Sean. Not this Sean, but a different Sean.
Yeah, I don't watch Arcane.
I still need to watch the rest of it.
That's what I've been up to. What? All right, John, you ready to tell
I-
your story?
I have fun stories. Yeah, so we watched all of Arcane last night. It was really good. We watched the last 3 episodes with our friends, Amber's sister and one of our friends over. All I'd say is, holy shit, shit's good. Watch Arcane. Go watch Arcane season. Go watch Arcane season 1, and then watch Arcane season 2 because you can get like the full story. And it's 18 episodes, and it takes about like 12 hours. But man, that shit's good. And holy fuck, did they retcon a lot of shit. But I'm so here for it. You know the one person they didn't retcon any shit from that's from Piltover? Boom, Ezreal, go to champion. Anyways,
Yeah,
I made a lot
think
of
we
league
should just
jokes that I
delete him
can't make
from the
right now because
game.
a lot of people will be spoiled. But yeah, Arcane's really good. But last week, I actually had to go to the ER because I felt like my left nut was gonna explode. Turns out it was kidney stones, and the pain was so bad I vomited 6 or 7 times at like 3:30 in the morning before finally, like right before I vomited, I was like, hey, maybe we should go to the ER. You know, maybe we should actually go to the emergency room and get this figured out. Probably a good idea. And and we so we go to the ER. It turns out it's a kidney stone. That's almost all in my bladder. So I got through most of the worst parts about it. Yeah, that shit hurts. Found out, John, low pain floor, high pain tolerance. Because I was suffering with that for about like the whole weekend. Was like, it's a little bit of discomfort. I can deal with it. Just walk it off, you know. Could not deal with it. Could not walk it off. So that was cool. I started my new job at U of M this week, which is fun. So I missed like 2 days of orientation because of it. So that was cool. And then today I hatched not my 3rd, but my 4th shiny female Basculin. For people that don't know, in Pokemon, Basculegion is a pretty good Pokemon in rain teams. It's really cool. But the male one has better stats than the female one because Pokemon hates women. Don't quote me on that. It's just the female one is unusable. The male one is really good. I've now hatched not 1, but 4 shiny females. It's a 50-50 chance. So it's a 1 in like 512. And then multiply that by the fact that I've done it's a 1 in 5 it's a 1 in 16 to get 4 consecutive female shinies. So that's really cool. Thanks, Pokemon Company. I love that about it. Why can't we get like THC for shiny Pokemon?
John,
yeah,
all I'm saying is that it was a 50-50. Either you hash 4 female shinies in a row or you don't.
and on the bright
True.
side, I also went to a local this week. There's only 4 people there. We each traded wins, and then everyone went 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 0-3. So we all tied. And there's no tiebreaker other than arbitrary placement. And guess who got 3rd and 0 championship points, despite going 2-1? This guy. And then we played in the low stakes one online that our buddy runs with 9 players. And I went 4-0 and then scooped my last round so I could go to bed and still won in first. Thanks to resistance. Thanks, dumb arbitrary systems. But yeah, other than that, it's been a great week. So I have pain medicine now and Flomax, which helps you pee and opens up your tubes down there. And I'm just waiting to pee out a stone that's about the size of a pea. If you know how big a pea is, it's pretty big to be in your pipes there. So yeah, it's really fun and innovative. But yeah, I've had a great week. So at some point, I watched anime and all that, and
Yeah.
and also my
Yeah.
cats are in the house now. You'll probably see them around
Let's
at some
go.
point.
We love
Yeah.
pets.
Yeah,
Comes
Uh,
out, you
not
should
right
fish
now.
it
They're
out and
upstairs,
turn it into
but
jewelry.
I will share 2 more quick things, and then we'll
for some
we'll
reason, my
dive.
fiance is obsessed with this stone and keeps telling me to birth her child. I wish that was a joke.
No, that tracks.
Yeah, I'm gonna share 2 more things, and then we're gonna get going. Firstly, if you did not listen to the news podcast, you may know this because you've heard about people talking about it from a gaming perspective. You should probably be keeping your eye on the fact that Sony is looking to acquire Kadokawa right now. That's fucking insane. From a gaming level, people care because Kadokawa has a subsidiary of Kadokawa is FromSoft, which is why gaming cares. You should care anime wise because Kadokawa is fucking massive in everything that it has already. It's already had like 2 acquisitions this year alone. And like from an anime standpoint, there's also like a publication. Like there's tons of magazines and stuff that goes into this too. If you want more, I talk about that on the news podcast. But that's just a thing I felt like I should mention here too, for the sake of it. Also, I feel the need that I need to very quickly talk about the fact that I've also been playing D&D. Because we are actively in the final fight of the module we are running for Lost Mines of Phandelver. That our DM has tweaked a little. So it is our party of 5. Plus an enemy party of 3 who is working alongside us, plus 2 additional guest NPCs who actively fought 2 chained angels, 2 spiritual, they're like spectral guardians. I don't know their exact names. 2 ghasts, a high level devil, and then a paladin of a pretty strong level, as Zol will say. When we cleared through that, the paladin then turned into a silver dragon. I promise you, there's a good reason we're fighting this, and it's not because we're evil. The paladin turned into a silver dragon and reanimated a white dragon we killed at like level 6 in this campaign.
I hate when that happens.
This boss fight, we have cleared through the silver dragon phase. I am the only person, I believe, above half HP left in the entire group of players who are on this battlefield. We are entering 3rd phase, which is a lich, and not just any lich. If you're a D&D fan, it's Zostom. We're fighting Zostom, who has been a paladin and a silver dragon in disguise. Which means, to put this into perspective, every single person on this battlefield but my character is in power word kill range. As we are entering 3rd phase of a lich fight.
For someone it's power word killer.
Yeah, I'm the only. It's really funny because I targeted him with an oath bow, and I've done collectively 246 damage to him over 2 phases. To which there was a point where I started shooting him, and my DM went, "He looks at you. He recognizes you're a problem, and he's gonna get to you." And I'm like, "Is he?
No.
He is mad.
Is he?" Everybody else seems to be in danger right now, but not this guy. But yeah, we're taking a week off for Thanksgiving, unfortunately, and then we're gonna finish that. Surely nothing will go wrong.
Sure. Bus. I'm in danger.
I'm in the least amount of danger right now. So I think. But with that in mind, oh yeah, there's a thing that's gotta come first. How could I forget? Power
rankings.
Power ranking. Ladies and gentlemen, we're power ranking. We always are. There it is. Not that one. There it is. I'm pretty sure I didn't fuck any of that up, but, always could happen. Don't bother telling me if I did. It's fine. I will accept that occasionally my eyes blur when I do this last minute before we go live, and I don't always bold things I'm supposed to bold. There's some things here that I'm excited to talk about this week. It should be noted, we had a conversation off podcast about what we want the power ranking to represent, and the general consensus was that we want the power ranking itself to represent our thoughts on the week. And that we're going to try in the discussion to, as accurately as possible, give a good feeling of our overall opinions on shows. So just because things look like this, doesn't necessarily mean that a show that's really low is going to get a slay. It might still get a slay, because it had a bad performance the active week. This is to say that do not let this fool you. Let This Grieving Soul Retire is indeed the bottom show in everybody's list this week. And we're gonna get into that when we get into that. I can think of a couple of reasons, but first, let's talk about Don the Don. John?
Talk about a good show first. Unanimously on all our lists, the top 3 show, I believe. Actually, no, not all of our lists.
Almost.
I have it at 4, but that's a very
fair.
specific reason.
So this week on on 4 and 5, we engaged Turbo Granny in combat. My combat, I mean running away. However, Turbo Granny doesn't. Unfortunately, it's kind of like a genie where like you make a wish. You need to be really, really specific. Because if you're not really specific, it will bite you in the ass. And so like, hey, we'll race you to this point, which is out of town, because they need to separate Turbo Granny from this prefecture, for the location to be separated and to kind of like beat it. However, the issue with that is, they need to get out of town and it's like pretty far away. So like, okay, easy plan. We'll challenge her to count to like 10 minutes and we'll run. And then if she catches us, she wins. Easy peasy, right? Problem. They didn't specify how Granny had to count. So Granny just starts counting wildly. She's like 7, 15, 84, 36, 10
Hike.
minutes. And so, they're like, wait, that's cheating. And she's like, you didn't specify. Boop, you're dead. And immediately catches Okarun because they're like,
Unaware.
oh, Okarun, transform. And she's like, no, that's okay. No more curse powers for you. Those are mine. And so, yeah, she catches Momo first. That's right. And then Okarun eventually, they break through and they start running, basically. So they start running away. A bunch of zombies appear to try to stop their way. A bunch of hilarity ensues without going to too much specifics because
There's
I
a
watched
giant
this like a week and a
crab
half
from
ago.
Bisco who just
Yeah, also
suddenly
a
is
giant
in this
crab, too.
episode.
Eventually they get cornered and they finally find an idea, which is the train. Where they reach the train tracks, they catch the train. Momo grabs onto it, with Okarun and taunts Granny into grabbing onto the train. They're like, well, that was our plan all along because Granny was sitting at the end. Their Granny was sitting at the end of the train, right on the barrier. Smashes Turbo Granny. They win. Awesome. Great job, everybody. And then episode 5 hits where episode 4 ends on the tag. It's like, hey, let me see your banana to make sure it's still there, right? He's like, hey, the shaft is there. We're good to go, right? Didn't think much else of it until he realized in class the other day, as they have some awkward like, I want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him, but this she doesn't want to talk to me, but she should. And then like back and forth, and they had like awkward scene when they run into each other, and they kind of kiss, but not really. They kind of like clank their teeth against each other, like awkward beings do. And then suddenly Okarun realizes, I gotta go to the bathroom. Goes to the bathroom, goes, where are my balls? I need those. It's where the pee is stored. But unlike mine, his balls don't have a stone in them. They're just missing. So
Wrong kind of pee.
he then has to go. He has to communicate this to her. So they're still fighting and bickering. He's like, fine, whatever. And they end up realizing, hey, we should probably figure out where your balls are. So they go back to Momo's grandma's house and find out that Turbo Granny is still hiding inside Okarun to try to regain her powers. So they kind of exercise the demon, pull it out, and stuff it into this cat doll. That they're going to convince to work with them in order to deal with a lot of the issues surrounding him, because Turbo Granny forgot where she left his balls for some reason. So now we're on the quest with Momo, Okarun, and Turbo Granny to find Okarun's balls. And that's where we're at in the plot right now.
So this is an interesting week for me on Don and Don because
Dun, dun, dun.
realistically, for me this week, my top 3 are actually pretty interchangeable. It's personal preference for me. I think all 3 of them had equally high quality episodes, and taking both episodes into account, things get a little weird. The why I say that is because I have like small gripes with episode 4 of Don and Don. It's a cool episode. Everything rocks. It rules. It's great the whole time. I have to give it a fair amount sometimes of how just shit's gonna work. Like, I have to accept that Momo is as skilled and as proficient in her powers suddenly as she is. It's really not that big of a deal because this fucking rules. This show's incredible. But like if I was gonna gripe at anything with this show, it'd be that. However, this show's number one because episode 5 exists, and these two are fucking adorable, and I love every single bit of their interaction for the entirety of the episode. Oh my god, they're wonderful. Oh, you could
They're so
not
cute.
you could not nail this dynamic better.
They're two lovable idiots, basically.
Yeah.
Second best ship on the show. Of the season.
We got some good ones.
There's some very good ones.
There's a couple of really good ones.
Surprisingly,
fantastic.
surprisingly, I don't hate Turbo Granny and the Cat Doll. I really thought this so far. I don't want to leave too much room here. I was really expecting to hate this so much more, just off, seeing the visual of this character, knowing it's Turbo Granny. This actually might not be too bad. This might be a mascot character I can tolerate, which is always impressive. So I'll give the show
Persona
that
5.
too.
Did any of you guys who haven't gotten to that point expect that after
No.
seeing the ending?
I think I got spoiled on it by Twitter, unfortunately, but
I did not know what was going to be in the Cat Doll, so I was not ready for that. I was wondering how they were going to continue letting him use this power structure, because you need an answer for it, or else Okarun just loses what he's able to do, and you have to keep giving him a new thing every arc.
I thought that'd have been even funnier if he gets cursed by a new thing and has to do
I
a
mean,
new thing
yes,
every single
yes,
arc.
but
Yeah.
again, I think that's asking you to give a lot to this
Yeah,
manga. If
That
that
also means
was the
they
case.
can never fight an alien without having fought a curse right before it, or not being in the middle of fighting a curse.
Yeah. I will give this show, the actual fight with Turbo Granny is a really cool way to do a shonen fight, right? Because you do shonen fight after shonen fight after shonen fight. Do a fucking race. That's rad. That's cool. The shit they pull here is wonderful. I do really like it. I'm just trying to levy as many small critiques as I can at things before I have to tear a couple of shows to shreds this week.
Yeah.
I got 2 in particular that I have, maybe 3.
I love the fact that they I don't know, it's hard to tell exactly when they come up with it, but the idea with the crab is that they go, oh shit, we can't really outrun this thing, let's boil the fucker. And that's sick.
in the sauna.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing.
Momo's really smart. Really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
God, it's fucking brutal at episode 5 when he visits her in the classroom, and like the whole group of girls is like crowding around her, and she starts fucking going at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking brutal thing to get through. It's
I
like,
also love her
ugh.
friends though, who are like, bro, you're not that mean to people. You actually just you usually play it off. What's up?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I
Don't
love how like one of them, they have the two
That was
friends see
harsh.
them and they go, oh those two are so into each other.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just love how everyone in the class is like, they're not like ridiculing her for talking to him. They're ridiculing her for being an ass to him here.
Yeah.
That's sick.
yeah, but
It's
it's a dual dynamic too, right? Because they're not anywhere. They have not expressed anything nearly to the level that everybody is forcing upon them, right? So this is a situation that's very understandable in how it breaks down, which I think is what makes it so well done. Only to immediately hit us with a new character and to have some jealousy, and I adore how that scene plays out.
Yeah, the part where she walks away talking shit about him, and then she goes, "Man, you're so awesome, Okarun. I love your glasses. Man, anyone who doesn't think so should have a bin dropped on top of them." And she's literally on the ground with a concussion, knocked out. And obviously she's gonna be the main character because her hair is a different color, and she's also in the opening a bunch. But
It should be noted that Momo also does feel a little bad after. She's like, I maybe shouldn't have used my psychic powers for that.
also, it probably hurt a lot. It's a metal basin just falling on your head.
Hurt a lot, but also have fun trying to explain that in a normal, conceivable method.
Fair.
It's a good thing the school's
Mhm.
probably filled with people who are just fucking nutcases.
I really like the way that episode 5 went about the two characters trying to find each other, but like just very coincidentally always not able to find each
Yeah.
other because they just
Mhm.
Ships in the night.
Yeah.
just like two people like they pass each other in the hallway, but they're trying to squeeze through a crowd of people, so they're just like going sideways, but their backs are turned to each other. And then the scenes where they're both in the courtyard, whenever one leans forward to exasperated, the other one leans forward like pensive and just like overthinking it. Actually, just so well done. It was so funny to watch.
Yeah. I really enjoy this show. These two are just absolutely wonderful. Momo is such a wonderful like leading character. Okarun is solid as like very fun seeing his growth. Cody started watching this show and referred to him as a Shinji, and I don't know how to feel about that, but
I think that's a fair.
it's a very fair,
immediate response.
Yeah.
I think he gets a lot of good stuff in these 2 episodes.
You can see him very clearly growing throughout the 5 episodes so far. And it's very nice.
I will say I think my least favorite character is probably her grandmother, but that's
Yep.
just I'm just not. This is one of those things where like I'm not necessarily sold on any of the roles she plays. Like I actually really like her dynamic with Momo. That's probably the only thing I like. But like I'm not the biggest fan of her style of character in the way it's being done. Which I think for me is why episode 3 last week felt kind of like a little bit of a dip of the 3 we watched, was because it was more focused on her and introducing her and her stuff. But yeah, the show rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, Dan, Dan.
Dun, 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 dun. Additional thoughts, or we want to move on?
Probably good to move on.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, Michael, let's
Does it?
Oh boy.
you and I are gonna talk about a show.
So, Suma show. Episodes 4 and 5 collectively take you on a fucking emotional roller coaster. So episode 4 is broken, I think, mainly into like 2.5-ish like sections that happen. So one of the major ones, I don't remember the exact order these happen in. But so Mai is going off to continue doing the thing where she's showing the guy to like do the website stuff and all that. And it really builds out is that she gets there too early because she's nervous, doesn't want to be late, so she gets there like 2 hours early, or like an hour, like very early. And he's sitting there fishing, because he lives on the ocean. And they just have a nice little talk, the two of them, Mai and I don't remember his name. They do say his name. I'm gonna pull up names actually
Renji.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just get into a nice little talk. They do their whole thing. And then we kind of cut to later in the day. Yeah, I think this is like actually a whole like section that happens between this. But the continuation of this is that later in the day, the mom, Takai, I think her what she goes by.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's like the actual name of her. The name of the kid is
Marika.
Marika.
Yeah.
And when she gets a text, she's like, "Hey, so he like asked me on a date. What do I do? Don't tell dad." So she's sitting there all cheery on the couch. That's happening. So
It
then
starts in episode 4 and it goes into 5. The next.
Well, yeah, 5 is like where that date actually happened. Like we actually see that.
No, I
happen,
mean this
believe.
next bit.
Oh.
All the
yeah.
date stuff is relegated to 4. You got that right.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other like really important thing is to get a lot of stuff with Marika's mom. So we learn Marika's mom has been dating someone, we think, someone she's been seeing at the convenience store who like goes there after work. And then so we see she's like, "Hey, he goes, "Hey, I might not be able to come to the convenience store anymore because I'm being moved to somewhere else. Because I think they all live in like Tokyo or whatever. I don't actually know what town they live in. But they're moving to Saitama, which is a pretty far out of the way place, like in Japan. Like generally. So she's like, "Hey, I can move in with you. I'll bring my daughter with me, or something. I need you to know first." And she explained she has a daughter. Um, and I want. Is it also in episode 4 we learn? Oh yeah, okay. It's in the restaurant. Yeah, I think we learn all that.
Mhm.
So Marika's then brought to a restaurant to meet this guy. His name's like Kiroki, I think.
Yep.
Something
Hiroki.
like that. So that they have this. They're sitting there at the restaurant, and so Marika's mom and him are talking. They're kind of like, they're like to kind of to get Marika to meet him because she had not met him before because she's always either not home or like he would never come home with her, obviously. And then we get little sprinklings of this man being a little off. Where so they're like, oh yeah, we should try to arrange the moving with like when her school schedule would shift over to the next year. So when she because you'd have to move to a different school, being in a completely different like prefecture. And she goes, wow, you must like really like kids. That's like
Which-
an odd thing for an old man to know.
Which he
And-
responds with the best line in the show, which is, "Don't word it like that. Don't word it like that. We don't.
like that.
Not me."
But then like one of the really big moments happens. So Marika's mom go to the bathroom, in quotation marks. She goes and just like stands around the corner. While Marika and Kiroki have like this like actual like conversation about why she does some of the things she does. Marika's issues with what's happening. She's like, it's like, yeah, it sucks that she doesn't that she yells at me sometimes and all this. But I understand she's trying to do a lot. She is a solo mom trying to care for a child, and he gives like I want to say it's in episode where we also get like we learn kind of why some of her philosophy comes through. We learned she hates her own mom because her own mom was a terrible mother who like
Mhm.
did nothing for her. Which gets brought back up in episode 5 because she gets like a call from her mom at some point during episode 5.
Yep.
But yeah, so episode 4, we have this like pretty happy moment with Maya, and we have like this really happy moment happening with Marika and her mom and this guy. It's like, wow, like things are going well for these families. Episode 5 doesn't let you be happy. Well, so the stuff with Maya is still going great. Her and Renji, they're still wonderful. So episode 5, we're approaching Christmas. So we go over like, oh, it's December 24th. People have the Christmas get-togethers. He's out with homies, which he had already planned before this. So like, Maya and him, they can't spend time together, but they do plan to spend Christmas itself together. So you know, that's nice. We see Maya and Keisuke spend some time together. Episode 5, they're doing Christmassy things. Or no, yeah. And then Marika, Hiroki, and her mom. They do say her mom's name. I just don't remember what the fuck it
Chica?
is. Yeah.
Chica, yeah.
They're gonna like go to an amusement park. They're gonna go have fun. Gonna go be happy. You know, this is a place Mark hasn't been in a long time. Which Takai doesn't remember any of this. Obviously, 'cause she only has memories of from when her consciousness like took over onwards. So it's like the past 6 months. That's it. And then so they're sitting there at the amusement park, and she gets something on the phone, and then Chica gets like a call on her phone or a text, and she looks pissed, or like I don't know if she's like mad. She just like she's down. She did not like whatever was sent here. We don't know. We never get exactly what was sent, but I can maybe make a guess that it's Kiroki saying, "Hey, I can't make it," in some capacity. So Chica takes Marika. They go to the mall. Gonna go do mall things. Go like visit Santa, whatever. Go buy some stuff. They're at the mall. We see Kiroki with his family. Yeah, he's the worst. early episode 5, something about his demeanor, I was just like, this can't be a good thing. There's no way this turns out good here with him. I obviously, in my brain, I took wow, you really like kids, and I took that in the bad direction, and went, oh no, I hope that's
Not
not what it
another
doesn't-
one.
Yeah.
I actually just
Hey.
assumed he was part of the Yakuza.
Hey, listen, maybe
You know
that kid was his wife from a different life.
That's crazy. That could never happen. But yeah, so there's like a really big falling out between Marika and him, or Chica and him, and Chica's really down. Like we saw her bad like earlier in the show. She's bad right now. She is, just like sitting dirty house, lights off, doing nothing.
Yeah.
Which is where we get a really beautiful scene where Marika goes and cooks her dinner, cooks her the omu rice, which I assume is the screenshot. I don't have to
Yeah,
scream
it is. I used it.
Yeah,
Don't
'cause
worry.
like that is the one I gave you, but yeah. She's fucking phenomenal. Where originally where Marcus, she's like, I don't even think she's gonna eat this, but this is all I can do for her right now. And initially Chica rejects it. She goes, "Go to your room. Why would you even do this for me? You're making me feel like I'm worthless." Because it's not even like something she could do. Like she didn't even do anything there. We cut to the morning, and we kind of get a flashback where Marika goes down and sees the dishes are all cleaned. She goes, "Oh, it's not in the garbage. I mean, she ate it." Then we get a flashback to Chica that night, kind of getting up and going, "No, I gotta stop being a bitch right now. I gotta like try to be a mother for this child." So she starts crying, eats the omu rice. It's a fantastic scene.
They'll go away.
Final scene of the episode starts.
I like
Marika goes, and then things were actually going fine for a bit until this day hit, where we see her getting let out of work a little early, which immediately led me going, "Oh no, she's getting fired. That's bad." It's not what happens. It's worse, arguably, because she gets let out of work early.
like,
She happens to catch Marika with the other two.
like that's valid.
This leads to her kind of seeing Marika go to their house, and going, why the fuck is this girl going there? Also, the immediate, oh, she's now living with another family, essentially. Like, that family's kind of taken my job. She feels even worse about like how little she's doing. She catches Marika as she's going home. She forgets the phone at their house, so Keisuke goes to deliver that, and scene ends with so Chica's like grilling her, like, who are those people? Why are you hanging out with them? Blah, yada yada yada. Keisuke goes, "Hey, you gotta stop." And she goes, "Who the fuck are you to tell me to stop? And who the fuck are you to this person?" And he is in the middle of going, "She is my," and then we cut.
Why?
Stop
Jail.
it.
Hard
Stop
jail.
See,
Stop it.
an
Immediate
important
jail.
part about these two episodes that you may have noticed in the recap, I said Keisuke twice that entire time, because he's like nowhere in these two episodes. And God, is it so much better when he's not there. I do really like him like stopping her, like the immediate, like, that's not something you should do to a child. Even that's like a normal, like, you're just like, damn, it's like
That's
being a
bad.
good dad. That's some good dad stuff right there. He didn't get to do any my wife this entire 2 episodes. Just thank God. Oh my.
Such a refresher to
Yeah.
not have to deal with that.
Oh, I also missed the thing in episode 4. Marika goes and hangs out with Keisuke's work friend.
Coworker. Yeah.
Coworker. Because Marika's like out late at night, and she goes, "Hey, that's your child shouldn't be out this late at night." And it's this cute little time. They learn about each other. And she goes, "Hey, do you like him?" And she goes, "Huh?" That's the thing a kid would do. That's absolutely I think a 10-year-old would do. It's great. These episodes are fucking phenomenal, man. I don't know if the rest of the show's gonna be able to keep this up, but for right now, I adored these 2 episodes.
So
I'm very happy with it.
that is kind of my thing. Is it definitely went up in my book. These 2 episodes were really good, but as you said, they were really good because Keisuke was barely in them, and I am certain that is not going to be kept up for long. and that's my thing. Is I don't see a world where he gets much better with my wife.
Yeah. But I have to give the show the benefit of the doubt. Like I have to give it a chance of like if you asked me at the end of episode 3 what this show needed to do to not be on my chopping block, it was exactly this. It was 2 really stellar episodes that focus on the surrounding cast that isn't him and dive into the stuff that is actually really interesting and kind of thought-provoking about the situation we are watching unfold. And I really like the execution on a lot of the scenes. I will say, while I like the stuff with Renji and Mai, their dialogue's a little stiff. The
Yeah.
dialogue's a little contrived. She walks up, he's fishing, they chat, and he goes, "My best friend was taken out to sea and died. I never saw his body again." And she goes, "Do you still want to live by the sea?" And I go, "This is crazy. You two have had very minimal interaction about designing web pages, and we fucking rushed right into that one." It's
So funny how awkward
Yeah.
those two are.
it makes it really funny. And you know, I'm willing to chalk it up to these are 2 very socially awkward people, and so just crazy conversation happens. But I will say, it kind of redeems itself on their second, unlike their real date, when they talk about like what it means to be family. That conversation's actually really well written. I really like that one. I just that part stood out to me of like, woof, this is something to have happening right now.
Michael and I.
I mean, we knew it was gonna happen eventually, but like,
Michael and I had the discussion of the Chekhov's gun that they set up on the shelf. That was, I hope one day I get to save someone myself.
Chekhov's gun is loaded.
Because you don't just throw that random bit of dialogue in when you're talking about your dead best friend. Unless it's going to happen later.
I do like that there's like, I do appreciate that she doesn't just go, like, she thinks in her head, she's like, yeah, people coming back to life's not really a thing that, like, is normal and happens, but it would be fucking wild. She went, you never know, he might show up as a 5-year-old boy tomorrow. That would be batshit insane.
I will say, sorry, go on, Austin.
Yeah, I really liked the direction of these 2 episodes. I mean, obviously, Keisuke not being there does help, but like the absolute emotional like roller coaster of like Chika like thinking that she'll find happiness, find like, you know, a whole complete family, and be able to like spend more time with the daughter that she's admittedly been neglecting, and then just getting crushed, and then getting like, a little bit of slight hope, and then now we're at anger, going through 5 different stages of I don't even know. It's not even grief anymore. Two things I will say is that one, this is just personal preference, but I really would have liked to see the, you know, cheating bastards
Trophy.
like actual wife just like tear into him as well.
I thought she was
Yeah.
gonna do the confrontation in the middle of the mall. I really
I
did.
thought so too.
But the only thing
Yeah.
holding me back is I'm like, she does that and she just gets portrayed and painted as the most like psychopathic crazy person he's never met before, and you don't do that in front of your daughter. Like,
It's
she's
like-
at least smart enough.
Also, just like, you know, it's probably not very good for like, you know, his son as well. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
the wife and the son had nothing to do with it, and they're just going to be, and while the wife will probably have to deal with it, there's no need to get that son caught in that hellish
Was-
crossfire.
Probably not the best idea to leave Marika just kind of standing in the middle of this large crowd, however.
We
Yeah,
certainly
it's
do.
fine.
We certainly do let this child do things that we should not let a child do, even if you're
I
in
mean,
Japan.
she is responsible, and
Okay,
and as he
but-
said, she's
And
super,
let's-
you know.
Ver-
And
Marika
mom's gotta
stay-
go put some belt to ass on your attempted father-in-law.
Marika stay in the middle of this largely packed, very crowded mall on Christmas Eve. Nothing bad will happen.
It's
Mhm.
crazy how it's just literally went from like, yeah, you know, she's seeing some boyfriends to, yeah, this might be a future dad, to, yeah, he's good with kids because he has one and a whole nother family and get debated.
I'm gonna be. There are a couple of lines in this episode that I think are really incredible, and one of the lines that I think hits so fucking hard is her looking at him and going, "You didn't even fucking wear a ring, ever." I've never
Mhm.
once even seen you with a ring. Oh,
Mhm.
Disgusting.
yes.
All right, and I'll just kind of pair a lot of points you guys said. Like, great 2 episode direction. Yes, him being gone, probably the reason why. And yes, it's probably gonna be worse next episode when he says something that's probably not gonna say
What-
she's my daughter or
What
my,
are we
my
gonna?
wife.
What are we gonna
He's gonna
do?
say something else.
She's my niece.
Instantly
What?
2 words into the episode, bottom of the barrel, or it could be like, oh yeah, that's fine.
She's my Make-A-Wish Foundation kid.
He
Like, what the fuck is she gonna say?
he
But
he just gaslights her into believing that
no,
somehow
this is my
her,
child.
her,
Actually,
no, her
it's
daughter,
always been my child.
that
It'll
her
never not be my
daughter-
child.
her daughter is his niece, and she's like, how the fuck would I not know that? And he's like, you just don't. She's my niece.
Bro, you haven't
don't
returned a
know?
call from your mom in 6 years. I don't know what you mean. She's been trying to tell you the whole time. But
Yeah, no, it was.
no, it's like this show is just so many good things. You're like seeing so much like good like character progression in her, and you're like, this is all gonna come really horrifically crumbling down, isn't it? And immediately she goes, yeah, it is. But hey, look at these two. They're hitting it off, right? Could be fun.
Could be fun.
Might be nice.
Anyways, here's the confrontation we've been waiting for already at episode 5.
I will give him a bit of the doubt this episode. Much better reaction to his wife child going, I'm gonna move away. Really thought that was gonna be a scene that was I mean, and they point out, they're like, wow, you're taking this really well. And he's like, I mean, she's not dead, so like, yeah, I'm gonna take it well. And
Yeah,
while
it's
that is a
not
that's a
that far
problem.
away.
That's a problem in its own right. That is how he views this. Is anything is better than dead. Probably something we have to get him through, huh?
Mhm.
I don't know. I am hopeful, and I'm definitely in my book. I am willing to give this show another week for sure to see how this unravels.
I'll also say good progression with the coworker where they're like, hey, you can be friends with an adult at work
Yeah.
and not have romantic feelings for them. If that happens, that happens. But like right now, she's like, it's just good to have someone to talk to that's like, a nice person at work. You can have adult friends. It's crazy.
Whoa.
Who
Last
knew?
thing I will say about the show is that like during the scene where Chica's like eating the omer rice, the background music is just this like really whimsical like clarinet tune. That just like rips me out of the moment. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
Anyways, I have a child and a family.
It's like fix that, and it hits a lot harder. But I just like I could not take it like seriously when I was like listening to it at the same time.
In hindsight, by the way, really clever, in my opinion, really clever writing that he doesn't get upset at Chica for hiding the fact that she has a daughter. Because he's actively hiding the fact that he has a second family. So he's just like, he's like, you got a daughter, you're a single mom, it's fine. And it's like, of course you will fucking say that.
Of course, it's fine. You already have one.
Of course it's no big deal to you.
Also, it's just so fucked that he was literally gonna convince her to move out and move into with him to a second apartment.
But I think
Like-
Michael's right. I think he was buying time to figure out what he was gonna do. Because
bail.
and that's what's really, I think, neat about how they write his character, is if you are trusting of him, they've written him to be someone who's just good with kids, which that is a thing you can be. You could just be someone who has an aptitude to be a good parent, even if you're not a parent, right? And so if you portray him like that, him going, well, we should wait till the next semester starts to move her, that actually makes a lot of logical sense and is probably good for her.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to hide the fact you have a second family, you might be using that to buy yourself time.
Had your.
Any other Sumo Show's thoughts?
Yeah.
No.
I want to give it to at least next week.
I think so.
That's my thing. Is because I think the show showed like what it can, like the writing showed what it can do, and it might do some bullshit.
Oh, well, maybe perhaps.
I can't wait for the actual solution instead of him to just explain the whole situation to her. I think that'd be the worst way they could do it. But like, you know what? He might, in case that kind of idiot.
I need you to listen to me. I need you not to call the cops or kill me when I say this. She's my wife.
That is my wife.
Well, was my wife, but like also is my wife. I have a marriage contract here.
Don't tell her about the marriage contract. Don't tell her about the. It's fine. It's written in her old name. Austin, blue box.
Yeah, so we start with Taiki waking up and kind of dropping that he just gets up a lot earlier now so that he can see Natsu in the morning because
Let's go.
your boy is as down bad as ever. And he rushes off. He grabs his gym clothes. He rushes off to school, and then like halfway through the school day, he gets a text from Chinatsu saying, "Yeah, you grabbed my what is it gym
Gym
uniform?
uniform.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it?" And they have to like just run around finding like a secluded area to make the exchange. Uh, in which he runs into Hina, who gives him teasing, and he teases her back about not washing his gym uniform, so he doesn't see the name tag that's on the uniform itself. They eventually find each other on the roof where she just starts changing in front of him in that whole way where you change underneath your clothes so so you don't actually take any clothes off. And Taiki gets incredibly embarrassed about it and just like I need to go keep watch. And then they leave and go about their day. Then Taiki reveals that he's got like preliminaries for the next like big tournament coming up, and he starts taking practice swings at home. After which, Chinatsu both tells him that his shirt is inside out, causing him to change in front of her, and realizing, oh hey, she's getting a little embarrassed about this too. Okay, maybe she does see me as a guy a little bit.
My man is jacked.
It's fucking yokes.
Fucking
He just casually reveals his fucking six pack.
Bro is built.
Bro's
And
as cracked
also
as he is jacked.
and also Chinatsu like kind of reassuring saying, "Oh, you also have like 2 years," and he's like, "No, I don't," but he doesn't really hide it. He's like, "I want to go to nationals with you," or something of that. And then they go to the next day where they've got the preliminaries where he and Taiki and Haru are doing doubles, and they're clearing because Haru's just goaded with the racket like that, and they come across Haru's old doubles teammate. His name is Shoichiro Kishi, and Kishi was like grilling Haru about like, hey, you never gave me Chinatsu's number, and Taiki's like, excuse me, romantic rival? The fuck you saying? And Haru's like, yeah, I said that if he ever beat me in an official match, I'd give him like Chinatsu's number, and you know they probably practiced, and Kishi probably took a set off him at some point, so Haru's like, nah, I'm not gonna give this to you. And so Kishi says, "Hey, if we beat you this time in doubles, you gotta give me Chinatsu's number." And then and then Kishi's doubles partner has
Turns into John.
turns it, turns into John and gets carted off in an ambulance.
Turns into John.
And they're like,
thanks, guys.
what do you do about this? And then Hardy's like, fine, if you beat Taiki tomorrow in the singles, I'll give you Kano's number. And then Taiki's like, don't fucking drag me into this.
To
So
bring
they
me and my bay into this.
so they start the next day they go or is the next week? There's
Next week.
Sometime.
they sometime later.
It's only a week later.
Kishi and Taiki start playing their match, and Chinatsu happens to be playing basketball like nearby, so they come in to watch. And Kyo, our goated little wingman, goes up to her and says, "Yeah, I know about your situation. You do know that this is like for your contact information on the line, and it'd be really, really cool that like since Taiki has nothing going on the line for him, you just like treat him to, you know, the aquarium or something like that. Just take him out somewhere if he wins. Wouldn't that be nice?" And she's like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me." Um, and our boy Taiki wins because he's just goated. Start of episode 5. And Hina congratulates him about getting closer to him, and then walks off, and someone's like, "Hey, Hina, are you kind of upset or anything?" And she's like, "No, I don't know what you mean. Maybe I'm just getting fat." Yeah, totally. Because and so they go to the aquarium, have a cute little date, and eventually Chinatsu just kind of apologizes for saying that he still has a couple years ahead of them and he doesn't need to rush it because it kind of you know it makes it mean a lot less. Every time you get to nationals is an achievement, so you can't just say, "Oh, I want to go to I always have next year, so it's okay if I don't make it." It's like, I want to go this year. And then Hina and Chinatsu like end up at like a chiropractor clinic or something of that sort at the same time. They have a nice little conversation where Hina's just kind of gassing him up. Um, and then Chinatsu leaves, but leaves her phone at the chiropractor clinic. So Hina goes to give it to her, sees Chinatsu walking into Taiki's house, and is like, "What the fuck is going on?" And the episode ends like before Hina like decides on what to do next.
Man, I love the way they portray Hina in episode 5. When they're at the chiropractor, the way she talks about Taiki is a very clever way for her to be like, "Yeah, I'm gassing up my boy who I know likes you." And also to really much to and whether it is intentional in her mind or not, is very much pointed to go, "I've been close to him for a really long time, and he's done things to me that I really appreciate, like carry me up a mountain and like have my back. Just thought I'd let you know." Smile, walk away. It's I adore the way her character is, and that like she is not outwardly intentionally trying to get in between them, but there's just a part of her who just also can't help like how she feels, and that's a really cool dynamic. Um, I'm a little on the actual aquarium date, because we're just so inside Taiki's head. The poor boy is so inside his own mind. It's nice. It's a good time. You lot. Oh boy, there's just so much there about how he views himself and how he views her. I think there's just a little too much doubt in like what even the activity of being at the aquarium together could be for my liking. But again, that is like the very minimal critique I could give this show. Just again, the cast is continuing to be really incredible. World's greatest wingman. Sport looks cool. Sport good.
Yeah, we finally got like actual sport this episode where like we got a good portion of a game and it looks sick as hell.
I love these two. Oh my goodness. I mean, these four. I mean, I guess we got like 6 whole characters like doing
A
actual
lot.
things. Yeah, Haru is still one of my favorites. Haru's wonderful. He's such a good senpai. I love how much shit he gives Taiki constantly. It's so good. He does a great job. Kyo just gets to exist. Kyo gets to be my boy. I love Kyo. We're not gonna get
You
like
meant me,
we don't
like-
get a whole ton with Kyo for a very long time, but it's Kyo. Kyo gets to exist. I think the stuff with Taiki Chinatsu is fucking adorable. I I still like vividly remember reading in the manga when he takes like the scene where he takes
Yeah.
off his shirt, because it's one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, she's like, I forgot, she's like actually a person. Of course she'd be embarrassed here.
But I also really like that it shows the fact that neither of them think anything about it when they do it, because they're athletes and they do it so fucking much. They change in front of people so much, they don't think about it. And then you put them in the situation where it is awkward, and they both go, "Fuck! Oh no, this is bad.
Yeah.
We can't."
It's such a nice contrast to have it like just like
Yeah.
back-to-back scenes as well.
Mhm. I
think aquarium stuff's just cute.
Yeah,
Cute
I
stuff.
like it. I like it.
Very cute.
Yeah. Again, it's smallest gripe I could possibly even throw at this.
Fair.
Brain. had another thought. It was there. Buying time for John.
Oh, hey, there he is.
Maybe not. He might
Oh.
walk away
Oh.
again. Was that a Dr. Thunder?
No, that is Fago.
Real quick, do we think that he's gonna go through more different drinks than you by
I-
the time this episode?
I
ends?
only have 4, so maybe.
But like the show
I
just
haven't been counting
consistently,
for him.
the show just consistently like
Yeah.
knocks it out of the park with like the
Very true.
interactions between the characters. Like Kyo just absolutely being the greatest wingman, Hina being the greatest wing woman, but maybe not for herself. And Haru just absolutely
Being a fucking
doing his-
homie.
being a homie, but being
Listen,
own
I've
goat.
been saying this for a while. Every good male protagonist in a rom-com needs a bowl cut ass, glasses wearing straight man to fucking do the work for them in this relationship. It happens in Lemon, it happens in here. This dude is goated, and I love Kyo. Just really push out, hey, listen, I know this isn't your fault, and it's not his fault either, but like they kind of made a bet over this, but like it'd be really cool if like he won and like you like took him to the aquarium or something. That'd be really cool. But like just as friends, as like roommates, as like and then like him to see like when Taiki like gets a point, she's like, oh yes, and she like grips the thing a little harder. He's like, oh shit, he's got a chance. Oh, he's in there.
It's real.
Um,
Tell me
So
there's a
good.
chance.
fucking love Blue Box, dude.
Oh,
This week is so good. I love those two together, Chi and Taiki. They're so adorable. Also love seeing our boy actually like produce results.
Yeah.
He got second at the prefecturals, only losing to one of the upperclassmen in his own school, which is really cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, also he's jacked,
yeah,
bro. She's like, oh, whoa, didn't know you had a 6-pack. Whoa, sorry. Whew.
And then he
Whew.
goes, muscles don't mean that much in Batman. She goes, okay, weird. Calm down. You're still ripped as fuck.
Update, by the way, I did finally pee out a rock. So
Let's
we're good.
go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
There's no longer a rock in the cock.
I appreciate you.
Longer
I-
Go to the
PhD.
phone, if
I
you will.
appreciate you coughing slightly over that, Mason. That's gonna help the podcast immensely. The message got
it's fine.
across, but in
It's-
the best
it's-
way.
No, it's fine. It was more than 30 seconds into the
Yeah,
video.
we're fine. We think.
So yeah, I took my good happy time medicine now.
Yay.
Because ow.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're good. But yeah,
Uh,
Blue Box is really good as well. So
other two things about this episode that I was reminded of. Tease for rival sports team. Let's go. Also, we get the scene where it's our boys walking back and Hina gets interviewed for the paper, and you get that bit where they're like, "Oh, prodigies are real people." Like they can turn it like not that they can turn it off, but like when they're not doing the thing they're incredibly good at, like Olympic level good at, they are also just a real person, which is wonderful. A very important thing to start setting up now, for a story like this.
I love Smug Hina. That was wonderful.
God.
It was such a good.
She made again gremlin of a character. She makes some great faces in these two episodes.
Yes, she does. They all do.
All I'm saying
They're
is
just-
that we're getting another pink-haired side character that's pink-haired main
Oh,
character that probably belongs in Mecha Ine, so
pink hair and blue hair bad for your results. I feel so bad because I love Hina as a character and like everything that she stands for. And I also love that, like, listen, we got another cool guy right there. Kill's right there. He's a homeboy. We love him. But
See-
like, she's so cute and adorable, and just like, I just want her to be happy too. And I know, like, bro, you ain't got no chance. It's
John,
so over.
This is reverse Lemon, where like
Yeah.
in Lemon, like the childhood friend, in my opinion, no fucking shot. The other pairing is so good. Whereas but like it's reversed in the way of like you don't want the childhood friend to have a shot in Lemon. Here you're like Hina's like maybe if you could. It's
Are you
just-
talking about Lemon? Or are you talking about?
you don't want Lemon because Lemon's
You
his
don't
childhood
want
friend.
Lemon?
Yeah, I don't think you want
I'm
Lemon.
in between. I'm 50. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
One
But
day,
like,
one day.
I do see what you're saying. It's like it's kind of like reverse, where it's like you really do like you want the best for the childhood friend, but you know it ain't gonna happen. But like, you're also not upset with like, it's just like Lemon, where it's like either outcome, you're probably not gonna be upset about it because they're both good outcomes.
Unless you're a manga reader, in which case you will be upset about it. Because manga readers are always upset, no matter what the outcome is, every time.
And you'll never be right, no matter what you say.
No manga can have a good ending ever. Actually, every manga ending is terrible.
Yeah, just ask Aka about Oshinoko. Anyways,
If you want to hear more about that, check out the bi-weekly news podcast.
but yeah, I love Blue Box. I've been adoring this show. This is like, I honestly am like, man, I might have flipped the coin wrong. The one year I don't go with the rom-com of the season and I go with like the hype shonen show, I like the rom-com objectively better.
Shut up, you still have
Like-
Don
You
to
got the
Don.
other-
Shut up, you still have
the
Don
other
to
rom-com.
Don.
Well, Don does have rom-com in it, but like, listen,
John,
like, it's different.
You have good shows. Look at mine.
What do you mean?
Listen.
What do you mean? We're gonna talk about one right now.
throw it
Mason,
out.
talk to us about Mecha Ude.
So Mecha Ude this week, past 2 episodes, we've been dealing with Aki and her trauma. So at the end of episode 3, Aki runs into the worm type arms user that she's been hunting down, and it turns out it's her sister. Turns out her sister didn't die, but she did cause the explosion that happened like 10 years ago or 8 years ago, whatever the fuck it was. I don't remember. So we get a flashback of them as kids, and basically what happened was this facility that they were in, that they were kind of experimented on in, but they knew it. It was weird.
Seems like their parents. Seems like their parents ran it.
Yeah, it seems like it. They were doing a test with the worm type, whose name I do not remember at the moment, but we'll
It's a-
get.
it's a
Oh
flower.
my god!
Kohaku.
I called her chrysanthemum. It's a
It's a
flower.
It's a flower.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what it is.
Tomorrow.
Hold on.
Amaryllis?
That it might be.
Yeah,
like
Amaryllis.
I think something like that.
Amaryllis.
I think it is Amaryllis. I think you're right.
I think you're right. So basically, what they said happened was, and I say what they said because I don't believe this at all. What they say happened was they were doing an experiment where they were going to try attaching Amaryllis to Fuki, who is Aki's sister. And when they got within like the same room as each other, they went fucking crazy and started creating like sparks and shit, and it blew up the facility. Amaryllis got Fubuki out, but that was it. Everyone else died, and now Fubuki has this disease where she can't form her own arbitrarium.
Very
Uh,
good.
Thank you. So they tell Aki, yeah, we can save Fubuki if you give us Hikaru, because he's special. He turned on the trigger arm. His arbitrium matters more. So while this is happening, they're talking about doing a like study session at Hikaru's house that is including Aki, Hikaru, June, and the rom-com girl whose name I'm blanking on. And Aki stopped showing up to school for a couple of days. And then because of this, Hikaru ends up going to Arms and is like, hey guys, y'all know anything? Please? And our science boy goes, hey, so I might have gotten her involved in something. Hey, you remember Owner from a couple of episodes ago? Yeah, we got his mechanical arm back to being sentient, and he's a Bushido master, and they're good now. He's going to help you out. He's a lot, but I do enjoy the dynamic of him and Owner being like Owner not wanting to be there, but this arm just dragging. It's great.
So Mason, fun fact. That's all
Yes.
episode 5.
Is it really?
Episode 4 is focused around. Episode 4 opens with the truck chase where they hunt down the guy who gets infected by the parasite arm, and we have our frog boy who gets murked in the middle of the street.
Shit, I
and
forgot.
then-
Her sister.
And then,
It's
well,
better
no,
than
she shows up at the end of episode 4. She is not in episode 4 until the very end because it cliffhangers into 5. Episode 4 focuses around introducing June into the school, and we have the love battle by the riverside.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay,
been a
Mason,
minute.
because we watched that episode, and I forgot what happened in it until I watched episode 5. So you're proving a very good point right now with your recap.
Fair.
Before we dive into really intricate discussion, I want to talk about how both on brand it is that a show like this has named a character owner, and that it is both a double pun and that he owned a Mecha Ude, giving it no free will, but also that his Mecha Ude is a bat and thus uses echolocation, which is kind of like sonar, so it's kind of like it kind of plays off that word. Man, I stand by my statement. This is the most Saturday morning weekly cartoon, and because we've condensed it to 12 episodes, shit is flying right now in ways that is not beneficial. I'll let other people talk a little more before I go into some things. I don't hate
I'll
this
go
show. I don't hate Mecha Ude. I like it. However,
It certainly does some things.
So, I really. Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
no, you talk first,
so-
John. Let
Michael
John
wants,
talk
no,
first.
Michael.
John,
Michael wants in on this. I
you
can feel
never
it.
talk first, though.
That's not true. I sometimes talk first.
Okay,
I,
fine.
I, I
Michael-
like. I just have a small thing to mention. Which you said the bat and you said echolocation. It just reminds me one of the most annoying fucking things about episode 5. Is that it's using echolocation. I think it requires it to make sound. Too much of it, perhaps. Ouch, my ears. Anyway, John, if you have like actual stuff to mention first.
No, I was just saying, I also like the reason why it's so low on me is just like this whole like sister thing is so like okay, if that's your sister and you trust her and it's actually just no she's good, trust me, she just couldn't contact you for multiple years with her debilitating disease and doesn't trust the people that are at the forefront of research about this to help fix her disease. We have the solution. We'll just kill the guy that's at the center of everybody's attention right now. That solves her cancer. That'll fix cancer, guys. Just kill the main character with the super arm. We don't care about super arm. We just want his juices. Don't worry about it. It'll fix her debilitating disease that is crippling her and definitely has not been an issue for the last couple of years. But now it's an issue. Now it's a problem because it's relevant to the plot. Even though years have passed.
Did you know it? Did you know in the future when you get cancer, it actually just like when you get childhood cancer, it actually kills a different kid.
That's how they get better. That's how people survive cancer. They actually suck the life force from a different person with cancer.
Okay, which
That
supporting
just happens to be the main character.
which supporting
But, like-
cast character and negative positive angler
But
are
the
we
biggest issue
passing
too
the
is, like,
cancer on to?
It's like she chases her sister down and finds her right after she literally fucking crushes a fucking mech arm from one of her comrades and fucking leaves him for dead and then implants him with a fucking evil hallucinogen spore and then goes no she's right, I should probably just kill him. Which I get, traumatizing past, but like she just eats this shit up and I'm just like none of this makes sense, like,
and it
which
is,
is why you guys are right, like it is that like Saturday morning cartoon contrived bullshit that like would be fine for that, but
you even have
it's so frustrating to watch for me, at least, and that's why like it's so low for me. Because I'm just like, I don't care. Like, for the first few episodes, we're told he sucks. We have the one cool moment, and now we're still told, hey, back up, you still suck a little bit in this fight. And then he comes in anyways and like helps save the day and stuff. Even though like there's a truck that gets dropped on him and explodes, and then the next thing the truck is gone.
It's
Like
over
after
there.
the explosion, it disappears.
Yeah.
Like
put it
after the
aside.
explosion, there's just dust, and I'm like, where did it go?
I was over there on the
There's
bench.
also like a couple of spots in the show where it's like it's literally morning and he's waking up and it's like, oh, she's gonna jump in through the window, and then it cuts to them in the lab and it's like, all these people are going crazy tonight, and it's like,
Yeah,
is
because
this in the past?
we
In the future,
don't,
they keep going
'cause
back
we-
and forward with it, and
what-
it's like
Hmm.
the time gets a little weird there, where it's like a little bit of continuity error to me. is
It's
how
it's
sees-
not
I guess
it's not
partially 'cause of
that.
time span.
The problem is that there is no sense of urgency about anything that's going on that
No.
we let 4 days pass over the course of this set of events. A man is attacked, his Mecha Ude is ripped from him, and we do not, and it dies, and we do not know if he is going to be fully okay. And Hikaru's just
Can we talk-
vibing at school. And
I love that part where he's like, "Thanks for bringing him in so fast. Now we can save him." As the doctor's like, "He's bleeding out. He's gonna die." And then he's like, "No, you brought him in time." And like at the end of the scene, you hear the fucking thing flatline. You're like, "Are we sure he's okay?"
It's for the arm. It's for the Mecha Ude that it flatlines.
Okay. I was like, "Are we sure he's alive?" Like,
Yeah,
when
Sergeant
he's gonna
Sergeant
be
Frost
okay.
dies and then flatlines. So like
And-
my
And
problem.
then even having the most cartoonish evil villain line ever that's like, "Comrades, these aren't comrades. These are just fucking living organisms
Yeah.
with feelings that we're gonna not care about because they're vital to our purpose." And it's like, okay, are we the bad guys?
Yes, because everybody is. Everybody but the main,
Mhm.
because that's how Saturday morning cartoons work. When your organization is named Arms, and
In all
functions
caps.
and functions the way this one does, yeah, you're also the bad guys.
Like a League of Legends character
Everyone
complaining
but
about all
Hikaru
that,
and
typing arms
Aki
in all
are
chat.
bad.
Well, the
Even,
whole
I think
idea.
Takami is Green Boy.
Yeah,
Even
dude,
he's probably not a bad guy.
Well,
kid.
the
He's
idea
he was
is-
probably just indoctrinated into this shitty belief system.
everybody.
Something.
He's just Seto Kaiba, or
Yeah.
like
Like
everybody-
these three is gonna be my favorite throuple ever.
He has the right hair color for Seto Kaiba too.
He does.
So you.
Screw the rules. I have green hair.
So like every character that they're going to pull into their squad, which they're going to do because of the structure of the show being a Saturday morning cartoon. You defeat a bad guy, you convert them into your squad, and then they join you and you use their tools. You have the wonderful Mouska tool that will come in handy later. They're all going to be good people because that's the idea behind it. Like this is why he's the main character. He's going to unite everybody. That's the whole thing. I get that Arms doesn't want him actively in the field. How the fuck does he get away with fucking off for 3 days and doing nothing? Aki goes missing for like a whole day. She shows up, is very suspect, and he just lets it go. She wanders off. He doesn't
Everyone's
try
looking
to follow
for her. Like,
Great.
They're all looking. She
probably hasn't showered. Like,
I'm not worried about that. Why are you? The cut to me of Aki shows up as Frogman, gets attacked, then leaves suspiciously to make her look like she is a part of or has caused it. All of that's very contrived and not very good for it. Like they move Aki too fast to too many locations to set up the plot with her sister, which is the most obvious fucking incoming plotline I've ever seen. Holy shit. The moment they go, "This killed my sister, my almost twin sister," I went, okay, I have a feeling I know where we're gonna go with this.
and then they like flash the hair and the fucking
Yeah.
cloak, and you're like, okay.
I'm not.
I expected that to be a thing that waited more than 20
No.
seconds to be revealed to
No.
us. That's
Great.
they just revealed everything so fast and in like such little time. It's just like you're just really gonna try to resolve this in like an episode and a half.
By the
we
time
have seven
you-
more
by
episodes,
the
what are
time
we
you have
doing in
the-
these?
Ooh, I wonder they already showed you what the answer was, and you're like, I guess I
Wait.
don't anymore.
Crazy hard cut, by the way, at a point in time to Aki. Crazy hard cut to Aki talking to the scientist about things that have happened after they've already happened to give us context about what the scientist has been doing to explain how Aki got places, but not putting that before that happened so you understood how Aki got places. And then also having a weird character who interrogates the scientist dude with her fucking brain claw. What the fuck are we doing with her? That shit, what?
Yeah.
That looked like she was
What?
gonna mind wipe him or something, and then was just like, nope, just scratchies.
I thought it was gonna be a lie detector, and she just goes, "No, I'm gonna pull your hair till you tell the truth." Crazy. This show is all over the place, and that's unfortunate for it. Because I really like a lot of what it does, and like, it has a lot of stuff in here that like I really wanna enjoy. So for me, it's very unfortunate.
Like episode 4, I didn't like terribly mind the pacing of. Like episode 5 was just when it just kind of tanked way down.
The open of 4 it was the only thing that was really jarring. Like Michael actively went, "Are we watching the right episode?" I went, "Probably."
Yeah.
And I backed out to check. I'm like, yeah, see, we are.
Yeah.
But that's
and
also
I-
not an unusual thing for a show like this to do, is open on a big action sequence to set up whatever plot point you're going into. Like it's
Yeah,
not as jarring as some of the other stuff later, I think.
We kind of finished the first like 3-episode arc. We've now moved into a next portion, so let's start with big bombastic action scene to show that some time has passed.
Also, too much shit. the Kagami group has like 5 different sectors inside of it that all hate each other's guts, and I don't understand how they work as a terrorist organization. What the fuck are you doing?
Here,
Yeah.
there's like 5 evil groups right now
You have
that I couldn't tell you who's in what. The guy with the motorcycle's like in the Yakuza or something. Like,
no,
the
but
Yakuza's
he
layer.
works under the Kagami group, which is the
Oh,
insane
is he
thing
just
because
part
they
of a
hate.
different group of the Kagami
He's
group?
a
The
different
cool guy
subgroup
with
in the
the trench
Kagami
coat.
group.
5 evil groups and 4 of them are the Kagami group.
So,
there's
guys, it's quite literally set up like a Yakuza organization.
Yeah, but
It
they're
is-
also not, because they're also big tech. They're set up like a
Yeah.
big tech that ate everything around them, so they have the bikers on employment.
No, but it's like in terms of the structure of it, like you have the group and then you have the families under it.
Show me a fucking map of the city to break it down for me, so I know who owns what turf. I wouldn't have a problem then. Just show me the grid.
White Ravens own the docks. We know that.
Do we?
Yes.
we think
They
That's
were
what
They're
the
also
prospect
kind of
is.
working for them, and
Everybody else has been there. No, everybody's been everywhere. That's my. Why did we have a scene where we watched them fight each other and nothing else was going on?
Yeah, I also know we did like make a comment about it. But the fact that the whole big plot thing with Fubuki is she went into the room and then her arbitrium had a negative reaction with this arms arbitrium. Or whatever. What?
So the
That means
obvious
nothing.
answer-
So they were trying to synchronize their arbitrium.
But they hadn't even like they walked
Yeah,
into
she
the same
walked
room
in the
as each
room
other.
and it exploded, which is wild.
That does not. I will say, do you really like that? You can clearly tell which arm between Sinus and
Yes.
Dex is talking at different
Mhm.
points. Like that is probably the best parts of these episodes. Is Sinus and Dex.
I do also
They're phenomenal.
I do also really
Mhm.
like that. I do really like that one of them was with her originally, and thus it
Mhm.
views this situation very differently from the other one. And that's it. Also gives you the explanation for why Aki has 2, and no one else fucking has 2 and can deal. Why? How can she deal with it? Who fucking knows? Probably human experimentation.
Yeah,
Arms.
She is I know she absorbed her sister's essence
Juices.
So like they became one. Because if you're born as twins, you get like half of the
Oh,
power.
Don't say
It,
it
like
like that.
apparently they split the brain cells too, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, let's give the subtle nod to the giant, massive arm talking about how comrades are not a thing. I see what
No,
you're
that's just
doing
him.
over
I thought.
there.
Was it the arm or was it?
No,
him?
it was the arm talking, because the arm
Mhm.
turns to deliver the line, which
Bro, I can never tell
which
those two.
almost implies that maybe that arm is the thing actually in control.
Yeah.
Nothing suspicious going on in
It's like,
arms.
you need to block the key, and they want to open the key, and he's just like, I want to go to school, man. They're like, okay.
The show is interesting, but it certainly is not without its faults.
Well, you know what, guys? I got wonderful news. We have another absolutely stellar show to talk about that are only gonna have positive things to say. Ladies and gentlemen, let this grieving soul retire, please, Lord.
So,
He needs
let
it.
him retire.
so in honor of that, I'm gonna go piss real fast.
Yeah, go ahead. Don't worry, this won't not. Give me a minute. I have to pull up a character list in case there's anyone important whose name I don't remember.
Okay, so
I'm
we got
pretty-
Greg,
No,
Gilbert,
he's not. They're not.
Ryuta.
Important. They're not important to talk about. I don't know why you're even saying their names.
Tino, Cry, Liz,
Yeah.
Big
They name a
Big
couple of
guy.
other ones.
guy's secretary.
I'm glad you know his name.
I don't remember his. Her name's Kana, I think, the secretary, something like
That's crazy. You're right. Let's.
that. We got Citri of Citri Slime.
That's her. Her last name is not Slime, by the way. Her last name is actually
Citri Slime is its own important
Yes,
character.
yes.
She is Citri Smart.
yes, because she is Liz's sister. We're not going to talk
Yeah.
about that. But
Yes, whatever.
let's dive into this. So we pick up where the episode left off, which is they're fucking around in this cave. They're just wandering. And here's what I'll say. I want to get this out of the way right now. I think the best parts of this show are Cry. I think Cry and how everybody fucking treats him is probably the best. Sorry, how everybody but 2 characters in the show treat
Everybody
him.
perceives him.
How everybody perceives him is probably the best part about this show, and the fact that they're not wrong, but they are wrong, and that's I enjoyed that bit. However, we're surrounded by characters we have to talk about, and things we have to talk about. So they're wandering through this cave, and Cry's like, okay, I'm not gonna tell him that I don't know where the fuck I'm going. And Gilbert goes, where the fuck are we going? And Tino goes, you don't ask him questions. He's taking us where we need to go. Believe in him. He is God. And Cry goes, you should be, in his mind goes, they should be leading. They're a thief. They understand this layout. And just kind of keeps, well, and eventually Tino goes, he's leading us away from the entrance. Because of course he is. Why would he take us back to the entrance? We're not done yet. And then they get to a fork in the road, and Cry just starts walking the other way, and everyone goes, yo, down there, we can sense them. The people we're here to rescue. And Cry goes, you can sense, oh, right. I forgot I'm bad at this. They show up, they rescue these guys, and they're like, we really don't think you guys should have got your shit kicked in so bad by some giant wolves with Gatling guns. And they go, the giant wolves with Gatling guns, that wasn't what did this. What did this was one man wearing a mask and a sword who turns all the crystals from blue to red or purple, one of the colors. And we do get a very interesting and I think fun bit of world building where they go, he's about as strong as the world's strongest swordsman. And Cry goes, that can't possibly be true. I know that guy. He's my childhood best friend. This episode opens with a flashback where they explain that Cry's a huge relic collector, and all his relics are cursed because he's a fucking idiot and he lets people touch them. But his friends are such idiots that they actually use them to strengthen themselves beyond normal human capacity, and they're all genetic freaks now. As such, Cry's like, there's no way that this boss could be as strong as my buddy, the world's strongest swordmaster, whose name I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's
Thousand
his actual
Sword.
name?
I meant his actual name. Yeah.
Oh, Luke Cycle.
Yeah. The most Tales of name I've ever heard. And so
It's so close to a main character.
Yeah, and so they start trying to take everybody out of the dungeon, and they run into this strong boss Phantom, and then suddenly there's a second figure behind them wearing a spooky mask, and Tino loses her shit, and we realize that this is because this is Liz. And Liz absolutely bodies the shit out of this boss, to which Cry goes, oh yeah, it was nowhere near as strong as my boy. This would actually be a contest if it was. And then Liz gets really upset that no one knows who she is, and no one is explaining who she is to any of the people who don't know who she is. How don't they know who she is? That, perhaps the wildest thing is they know everybody else.
How do they not recognize the mask is my biggest thing, because like this is like the icon of their entire group, and they're all just like, who is this random thing that's just bodying this
Right.
thing?
I will say, Ruda, I think her name is. She doesn't even recognize Cry in episode 1,
He's in it
and
too.
he is the guy. He's
Ruda
him.
makes-
That's right.
He was undercover,
I guess
guys.
respect. You would think the level 5 party might have some clue who
It's
this
the
is.
fact that the level 5 is the fact that Gilbert also doesn't, like, 'cause he seems like someone who's like kind of in adventuring.
But he
Greg
also
seems like
didn't
he
know
might
jack
not be
shit
out of
about
it by the
Cry.
point they become big.
I guess there's an
Gilbert's just a
argument.
fucking dumbass.
There's
but,
an argument that they're all away in the capital and doing other shit that they probably haven't actually been seen in fucking. They're all legends, I guess. You
Well,
could
yeah,
chalk up to
they're all clearing the Phantom House or whatever
Night
they call
Raid.
this. Night Raid.
They're clearing the
they're doing
Akamiga
Mega
kill.
Protocol Ultimate over there.
They're clearing Akamiga kill. But here's where we get to one of the major issues of the episode. Liz is unbearable. If you thought Tino was bad, Liz is bad in the same way and a different way. It's both
In worse
again.
ways.
So she also has a god complex for Cry, which is very much more so that she just is madly in love with this man. And she is also the world's most authoritative and abusive teacher known to God, in the fact that she's almost ready to kill Tino on every screen. And while it might be good for this to kill Tino, perhaps not in this way. It might be a better show if we get rid of her, but the treatment from Liz to Tino is honestly really tough to get through. I will say her personality sometimes has some good bits, I think, especially in episode 5 more than 4. You get a couple of good interactions, I think, out of her and Cry. Like, Cry's dynamic with her, I think, is great. The idea of you have a absolute sociopath who can only ever be talked to by the guy she's madly in love with, who absolutely doesn't understand why that is the case, I think works well. So they get everybody out safely. They return. Cry is panicking because he has no idea where this fucking slime went. To which my brain forgot. Yeah, he totally did open it, and the slime just wasn't there. So Cry actually comes to maybe the most logical answer, which might be the actual answer of maybe there just wasn't a slime in there ever to begin with. Maybe they were just fucking with him, which I think would be really funny. But instead, he has nightmares that the slime's going to come and destroy the entire world at this point. He offhandedly mentions to his secretary, I think. I think she's just the secretary of like their branch. That doesn't work under the guildmaster, but she seems to be his direct secretary by how she keeps popping up. The one with the glasses.
voice of reason, as
The
I
one with
call
the
her.
glasses whose ass we saw in episode 3 very, very closely for a long amount of time. But he's like, have you gotten any news about the Capitol? And she's like, no, should I have gotten news about the Capitol? And he goes, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I just had a thought. And she goes, you had a thought? And then she monologues about how natural disasters happen and Cry knows that they are coming. And if this has only happened once or twice, you could chalk it up to luck. But Cry is known for always getting everything right. And then the show does the funniest thing possible, which is hard cutting to the evil organization of sorcerers in the Capitol as they go, shit, we've been found out. Which is really good. I wish
How does he
I
know?
wish it was just this. Yeah, and so they're fucking with the ley lines or some shit that's allowing them to manipulate the dungeons without it being traceable to them exactly. So they gotta be careful, they gotta move, they gotta pack everything up. And they're working with some kind of sorceress witch who is not there, but it's in the post-credit scene that is after the credit roll and the preview roll. And if you didn't see that, it happens. It's not important. You really don't need to go back and watch it.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
have a thing, a small gripe that I got irrationally angry about when Michael and I were watching this.
Uh-huh.
So her name is Sophia Black.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real ass person. That's a person that exists. She's on Polyphia albums.
That's fine.
It's just one of those things where I was just
It's
like,
not based on a real person. It's fine.
Yeah, Filthy X at a reasonable price.
Look,
you know?
Luke Cycle's a real man too. You just don't know him.
These are works of
Fair.
fiction.
You
Don't
hope you just
reference real
haven't met
people or real things.
But so
He
other
just
plot
happens to
point-
not be goaded at an instrument, probably.
Yeah, other plot point in episode 5 is that Cry doesn't want to deal with fucking anything, so he's waiting for Ark to get back so he can push it all off on him. And everybody wants to talk to Cry because Cry is the only person who could apparently solve any problem ever in this goddamn town. One of these problems is that the training room is currently being occupied by Liz, who is trying to kill Tino. Cry tries to handle that and goes, it almost succeeds, and then Tino goes, actually no, I want to continue my near-death beating. And he goes, well, can't help you there, and leaves. To which he then goes to talk to Zack from Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, and he goes, look man, I can't help you there. Go be a soldier, I believe in you.
so a thing that they do at this point that I really hated when it first happened, but they do it again later in the episode, and I think it's a really funny bit, is every time they leave Liz to go fight somebody or beat the shit out of them, you can hear in the background the fight happening. So when it's happening with Tino, you hear faint rumbling, the sound of punching, and just hentai screams. Just straight up
Mm-hmm.
like hentai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is rough.
Guess
to
they
get
watch
through.
that in the gym.
Nice. Nice.
Austin, you're my goat.
out loud,
brother.
out loud on your portable radio speaker.
Quite enough, thankfully, but
Holy
We do
just
get
like, oh, that's gonna turn it down.
we do get some really cool and interesting lore that's hidden in between here, where we find out that why the fuck is Liz back in town? She was supposed to be in a super high level, like level 9 dungeon, and it turns out, according to Cry, she got bored and left the rest of the party because it wasn't good enough. To which they talk about it later, and she's like, "No, it was actually strong in a challenge, but I just want to leave. I didn't want to be there. Got bored. I have the attention span of a child." I like, yeah, Mason.
Oh, one other thing I did want to point out, because this does happen at the beginning of
Yeah.
episode 5, is we see this party in a dungeon that is supposedly a different dungeon, but looks the exact fucking same as the Wolf's Den.
No, it's fine.
Well, yeah,
fine.
it's a Persona dungeon. It's a Persona 4 dungeon.
Previously generated
They
dungeon.
all
Persona
kind of
4.
They
Persona
all
4
kind-
dungeons do vary.
They all kind of but they have the same structural foundation. Don't worry about
No.
it. Don't worry about No, this one's a darker hue of pink and not blue, okay?
Yeah, Mason, come
It
on.
only turns pink
No,
when the
it
demon
was
comes
blue.
out.
It was blue.
It was also pink at some point.
Yeah, they were the same colors.
Hey, they're good colors, okay? So
Fucking sue me. This dress is blue, bro.
but so Cry walks up to Sven. Sorry, his name is Sven Anger, by the way. I fucking love it. I love and hate this show so. This show is both everything I want and also nothing I fucking want. And it aggravates me that I'm gonna finish watching this show. Spoiler. I'm gonna kill myself doing it, but I'm gonna love it also. So he goes to Sven Anger and he goes, so I'm gonna need you to go talk to our big guild boss because I don't want to talk to him. And he's gonna go give you a job that would probably be my job because I don't want to do it. And Sven goes, understood. And his buddy, who's apparently new, goes, he kind of seems like a coward. He goes, don't you dare say that. You don't understand the magnificent things this man will do for us if we listen to him. And he goes, you have to learn to read between the lines, the thing I know you're good at. So look past the surface and see that he's a great man. And his buddy goes, sure, I guess.
Absolutely incredible accidental gaslighting.
Yeah, and then our guild master goes, I'm not gonna wait for this fucker. I'm gonna go to his house. Which beforehand, Cry wakes up and Liz is in his bed, and somehow this is the most tame scene out of any scene we've gotten with either female character. She's actively laying in bed with him, and it's completely normal and regular. Nothing weird happens.
Somehow.
Yeah, and Cry's like, why are you here? Weren't you killing Tito? And she goes, oh, I gave her a break because I'm worried I actually might kill her. And he goes, well, don't you have to train? She goes, I'm taking a break because I accidentally might kill somebody. And he goes, okay, fine. And he goes, we want to just go do something? I don't want to do anything around here important. She goes, sure, wonderful, a date. And so they go to leave the guild hall, and the guild master goes, I need to talk to you. And Liz goes, no, you're a coward and a baby, and you need to learn how to wipe your own ass, and you need to stop relying on Cry. And Cry's kind of just like, I'm out of here. I'm gone. Not me.
Hey, secretary, want to go have a...
Let's
have
have
a
some
cup of
tea.
Let's go have some tea. This could take a minute.
I'll tell you everything I feel like telling you, and imply that there are things I'm not telling you to make it seem like I'm smarter than I am, even though that's not why I do it.
Meanwhile, Yuno is fighting Garp.
Mm-hmm. I do really like the, again, really cool world building about how strong this man once was, and that he is no longer at the same level that he could clear the dungeons that their parties are going through. And then Cry and Liz are taking a walk through the town, and Liz starts off to murder a man in broad daylight because she was staring at them from across the street. And while this may sound insane and like psychopathic behavior, it's actually the correct thing to do because he's a capital city mage spy. But Cry, not knowing anything, goes, Liz, don't kill a man in broad daylight. Let him go. Which really fucks this guy up mentally. He's like, how did they see me? I was about to die. Why did he let me go? What does he know? He knows everything. This show is both incredible and the worst fucking piece of garbage I've ever seen.
It's not quite at that tier of shit I want to keep watching. But man, boy oh boy, is it just so close.
I think if you
it's actually so close to being like tasteful garbage.
I think if Tino and Liz were both toned down a couple of notches in different ways, and you got rid of the pointless fan service shots that don't even feel like they fit the genre of the show.
We certainly did get like 10 straight seconds of Tino's ass.
While
and
she is
also the
unconscious
shot
on the ground.
And then also the shot of Liz going ass over tea kettle and just holding on her, going like her legs up like this.
Yeah, it sucks because everything about this main party sounds rad as hell. I like the idea that their masks are broken because he forgot to put eye holes in it and it made everybody else stronger. All this dumb bullshit is hilarious and I love it.
It's like, oh shit, I forgot eye holes. Damn it.
Michael and I
it's so cool.
Michael and I were talking about this as well when we were watching it, in that Cry on his own is great.
Oh, fucking amazing character.
Tino, when she's not around Cry, is great.
Pretty good.
Unfortunately, we put the two together, and it just causes problems. It's unfortunate because like the bits where Tino's like leading the party and not referencing Cry are actually pretty neat. Like
The parts
she's a
where she's like-
solid leader.
It's his master plan. He's so smart.
Yeah, when
It's
she
just-
when she acts like every other human being in this world who thinks Cry is insane, but in a good way. Like
Yeah,
it works. I do really like the bit with the cursed relics at the start of episode 4, where Liz gets the relic that fucking throws off her equilibrium by chucking her halfway across the room, flipping her upside down, and that she just trains with that, so she's cracked now.
Yeah. They
yeah.
also like casually say it's like, oh yeah, that would kill like normal people. Don't worry about it.
Cry
fine.
actively goes, yeah, that relic kills people. Neat that you're holding it, though. Really showing that he wants out of this fucking guild in any way possible, even the death of his own friends. It might be his only out, and he's made that impossible.
So the
Oh,
funniest
poor
thing
Cry.
with this show is that as much as I love Cry, yeah, as basically was like, I feel like a lot of these characters are worse because Cry is here, and it's like
Yeah.
truly imagine a world if we did let this grieving soul retire. And it.
Ugh.
This show's silly. This show is the definite, as I like. I don't know. I think a lot of people use this term. This show is fantasy slop. This is just slop. It's a good time, but calling it a good show is it's very.
It's a show
different
that
thing to
belongs
say.
here for a
I-
good time, but not a long
I
time.
think it's more accurate to say this show has the makings of fantasy slop. And then it's also just slop.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. Like, the issues here aren't that it's fantasy slop. The issue is that there's slop mixed in with the normal
Yeah.
fantasy slop.
Sean, as
I
a
mean,
resident
this-
fantasy expert, we need your opinion on it.
Look, man, you got a man named Sven Anger. What do you want from me? This world is perfect. But you
Perfect
just,
world
Feel
building.
you
black.
just put everything else in here. You have Sophia Black, who has red hair.
You have Liz Smart, who isn't very smart. You have Citri Smart, who is very smart, probably.
You have the man who was a child and is now a mountain, and I can't believe we're not going to get
I
to see
cannot
him before
wait
he
to
wrote
meet the
this show
27-foot
up.
tall creature that is him.
Creature.
He is.
It's not like. What's even better is that like we get like an inkling this episode of like, oh, there's like some magic you can do to make yourself look bigger, because that's what Guy does when
Yeah.
he's fighting Liz. Like he does like some magic to make himself bigger. I just can't wait to meet the 27-foot tall mountain.
Are you implying you're going to keep watching this show with me, Michael?
Uh,
That's what I thought.
No.
Maybe.
You just want me to
It-
tell you the episode where he shows up.
because it's like I don't have a bad time watching this show, but it's not a good show.
We don't have a good time watching the show either.
I'm
Really.
having a pretty great
Michael-
time, but like
Michael-
not like this is a great show experience. Like this is I'm having fun.
Here's a true benchmark. Less or more enjoyable than Back Arrow.
Oh,
Ooh.
L ratio.
I think Back Arrow is definitely more absolute nonsense slop. So I think that's a more fun watch because it is just absolute nonsense.
Well, yeah, fucking cowboy spaghetti western mecha is crazy.
Get over the wall. No, it's on top of being a
Get over
cowboy
the
spaghetti
wall.
western mecha. It's also a Japanese imperial show.
Yeah.
Japanese imperial historical drama.
And his name is Back Arrow.
His name is
Buckaroo.
Byakuya. His name is Idiot.
That should be the
Fucking
name of a
hate
lot
that
of the
show
characters
so
in this
much.
show. I can think of a couple who deserve it.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
like-
I'll say this is probably better than Spirit Chronicles. So like, you know what? And I did watch
That's
all of
not-
Spirit Chronicles first season.
Did you really?
Yeah, I watched all of first season of Spirit Chronicles.
Are we like I think okay. In the fact that Spirit Chronicles is kind of boring, bland fantasy the whole way through, yeah. But like, it doesn't do anything. Well, it has children. No, Michael understands exactly what I mean by Spirit Chronicles has children.
Fucking
Fantasy-
rock me with
Yes,
the
but-
eyes,
but-
just
but-
like
Look, have you seen? Okay, defense build has children. You know exactly which two.
Defense
You know exactly which two characters I'm talking about when I say has children.
It has the Ice Climbers.
Yeah.
Ice climbers.
It actually has fucking Nana and Popo. They're there.
I'm trying to think of another show that's a good example of has children. A part of Shield Hero has children. That actually is a really good comparison to Spirit Chronicles, by the way, because they fill the same
just-
problematic void.
I just love the sentence "has children."
Have you guys seen the main character of Spirit Chronicles?
No.
No, you have.
But no,
actually.
Michael. Let me.
That's the
Michael,
bit.
let me.
You
let
have
me.
seen it, you just don't realize.
Michael,
you've
let me
seen
do the bit. Let me do the bit, please.
Oh no.
it.
Oh,
You identify
anyways,
each of these
yeah,
characters from Spirit Chronicles, just 12 the same.
We'll put it that way.
character.
This is why Grieving Souls is at the bottom. It is certainly a show of all time.
So
Yeah.
here's the main character of Spirit Chronicles.
It does certainly exist.
No, he's like wearing white. I think. I think that's like the only difference.
Oh, Michael, you haven't gotten to those parts of the show.
But no, I haven't watched any of season 2.
Hold on, give me a second. Oh no, it happens in season 1.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah, he gets the fit at some point.
Oh, I
thought
forgot he does. Wear,
you
he
thought
does have
I
that
you
fit.
thought I was kidding. You thought this
Holy
you thought this was
shit.
like a small reach. That's
Oh my God.
it's just him.
Oh my god, he's not joking. For reference, for those in the chat that cannot see, he showed us a picture of Kirito from Sword Art Online, and then showed us a second picture of Kirito from Sword Art Online.
But
But in
he's
a different-
brags and
but
blue
from a
lines
different
on his
show.
jacket.
It's okay to distinguish him. They give him white hair when he fuses with his sword spirit, who's a big titty woman.
I'm sure.
Oh, of
Spirit,
course.
Spirit Chronicle, good. I like it. It's fine.
There is like a character. Figure. I will say like the like,
This is a podcast about Spirit Chronicles, Michaels. We didn't stop. We didn't stop.
yeah,
We
but
didn't
the girl in
stop.
the library, she's like kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Grieving Soul of Attire. I think we've discussed everything that needs to be discussed. I don't think there's
I miss
anything else to
Batgirl.
say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, maybe another season it could have made it to week 4. Moving on, John, you want to talk
Maybe.
about Duo of Damsel?
I would love to talk about Do Over Damsel. So, after resolving the instance at the port, they basically decided, hey, what should we do with the Marquise, right? And they decided, okay, we're gonna put him in jail. We're not gonna kill him because Jill convinced them, hey, not a good idea to kill him. We need him for political reasons. It'll help defend you. It'll help fix this issue. He uses Conqueror's Hockey again, which is pretty cool. And we have Jill kind of at the castle going, okay, well, we're at the Marquise's building. Where are we gonna sleep? Well, this is your room. And she's like, oh, well, if you're with me, where is he? And he's in the bed already, like taking a little nap. So Jill tries to help take care of him and make him fruit, but she's only combat brain, so she can't do household stuff. But he can, so he puts her on his lap and he makes her like little apple bunnies, and it's really cute. And they end up having like a nice evening where they kind of sleep together. And then they go and have tea where they're having a little like back and forth that they usually do. And then Zeke and Camilla show up and go, all right, lover spat over. It's time to get serious for a minute. We have to go do stuff. To which we have Sphere appear to deliver a letter. There's also some monologues going on about the curse and stuff and this and that, not the full story of like why the land, like basically there's a big shield that was put up of magic. And then when the shield fell because the like Dragon Empress basically like got betrayed or something. Well, you guys will fix it in a second here because it's a bit convoluted. And I watched episode 4 like a week and a half ago because I watched it pretty early, and I watched episode 5 today. And so a lot of stuff from episode 4 is a little convoluted. But anyways, it ends up on a letter that is from the what was his name? Hang on, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. I had this up earlier, and then I like peed out a stone and my brain blacked out and I closed a bunch of tabs.
Something Kratos.
Yeah, Gerard. What a fucking name. Prince Gerard from the original continent, her original spouse who killed her with a spear. That becomes important later. Sends a letter that says, I'm coming to pick you up, is literally what it says. So they arrive on a ship and they're like, oh, well, we need to present like we're together and like we're happy together, so we're going to put you in a cute dress and I want you to show up to prove that we are happy in the situation. To which she tries to smile and can't do it because she's combat brain and terrible, and the prince embarrasses her and stuff, and as they're walking they're kind of going back and forth about it with a smile and stuff. It's like, change of plans, you should stay back, and she's like, no, I am going in there because I hate this man but I need to be there for effect. Into which he's like, he's like, I got a foolproof plan. You gotta promise you're not gonna hate me about it. She's like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I'm gonna beat him up, right? I'm ready to go. And she's like, Shadowbox is like, no, I got a plan. And he kisses her on the cheek, and she's like, that is way too much. And that was my first one, and that was rude, and smacks him across the face. And all I love is they start the conversation the next one, and he's just got a red face print right on his face, from where she slapped him. To where they try to convince Prince Gerald, but then Prince Gerald's super honest, is like, well, it'd be a shame if the curse killed the Marquis, because that would just ruin your whole plan, wouldn't it? And then they come in the room and goes, Dragon Emperor, the Grand Marquis is dead. Which we find out that the spear that chased her down and killed her in the past is actually possessed by this this goddess that turned herself into a spear to come in and kill the original, I think, like Empress, basically.
Original Dragon Consort, yeah.
Yeah, the original Dragon Consort. However, this is why he needs specifically someone under 14, because once she became 14, she awakened to her powers and stuff. And so basically this evil possessed spear that couldn't return to her goddess form is now trying to kill the Dragon Consort so she can become the Dragon Consort and be with the Dragon Emperor. And because he brought the spear here, now it's like starting to possess girls above the age of 14 or above in the city and try to kill our main girl here, Jill. And so Hadith or Rave goes nuts over this, is like, no, we need to round up every single woman and girl above the age of 14 and bring them to the castle for interrogation, because she could be hiding in any of them. And they're like, that's like a sociopathic order and not going to be good because people think you're cursed. And he's like, you're right, because I am cursed. We're going to do it anyways. And Jill's like, let's not do that. And he's like, no, we're going to do that, period. To which Jill kind of has a monologue of like, man, why am I even here? Why are we doing this? And it seems like they kind of progress. However, 3 guards appear to be like, the city's on fire. We got to get you out of here. As they have like swords behind their back. He's like, all right, got to kill him. Dragon, protect her. I'm going to go take care of some business. And so he kills the 3 guards, and Jill can't get through this barrier, this dragon barrier. And that's kind of where we leave off, as Rave is about to go on a murder evil emperor spree, is what it feels like. Because he kind of just accepts that he is cursed. And so, yeah, a lot happened in like 2 episodes of this show. I had it pretty highly compared to you guys. I really just like, again, another good show where I like the dynamic between our main character or like our 2 main characters, right? With Jill and Rave. I also feel like it's moving a little bit too fast with this like big evil spear possessed thing. And it feels kind of like really like it got really convoluted really fast to me, at least. But it makes sense how the spear is like bullshit cheater magic that like stabbed her while she's like flying through the sky in the prologue. So, what'd you guys think of this this episode?
This is happening over like the course of like a few days, right?
I think it's over like a day and a half. Is what it feels like.
There's a little bit of time, I think, where she has to settle in, and it sounds like they almost get into like kind of a routine before the letter comes, and it sounds like he does just show up kind of like the day of or next day, because they say they don't prep. I want to make it clear, this show's low on the power ranking. I really like this show. I don't have a problem with this show. This is also a show I probably have the least amount to talk about. It's good. I like it. I just like other things more. I think for 2 episodes, I think backloaded in episode 5, episode 4 kind of just happens. I'm hard pressed to remember a lot of it. Outside of like getting the letter and some of the bickering. That episode feels like, in my brain, that episode feels really slow. I can't even try to begin to tell you what happens in there. Will say, crazy to make the goddess of war a crazy ghost lady who possesses girls who are specifically over the age of 14. Neat.
Well, it was because they did explain it though.
Yeah.
And that it's like that's when she like awakened her powers of the goddess, and it's like, okay, a little bit better.
But let's ask, why 14? Like not like in the world. They explain that that's the age. Why did we pick 14? I have a couple of options. What do you think? Do you think it has to do with the fact that Osiris's body was torn into 14 pieces by Set? Do you think that there are so many numbers of days in a fortnight? Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that it is the number of lines in a sonnet? What about the fact that what do you think about the fact that Beethoven's Piano Sonata number 14 is the Moonlit Sonata? Perhaps maybe it's something to do
Oh,
with
pretty
that.
good. I like that one. I like that one.
No,
What do
I
you guys
think you'll really like this one. Do you think it has to do with the fact that MLB Hall of Famer Ernie Banks wore the number 14 while playing for the Chicago Cubs?
True, he did. Although
I-
some were still during
I
that
can't
time.
tell you which one it might be, but I think it's crazy we chose the number 14. I was
Like, yeah,
legitimately.
It's
for sure
definitely
for
because
that.
That was
That's a
older
good
than
one.
18.
it's definitely because they were like referencing the atomic number for like
Silicon.
I don't know, was it like silicon?
Yeah, I had that
Okay,
part of the wiki up too.
Okay,
Uh,
cool, yeah.
No, it's so weird to me that I was legitimately interested to see if there was like a mythological or like folklore reason they chose 14 in some like historical. Nah, I don't know, dude. I couldn't tell you.
No, it's because anime bullshit. That's why.
I do
Anime
like me some good
bullshit.
anime.
I
bullshit.
like the
Probably.
show. I don't think it's moving particularly fast because I don't know the speed of which I expect this show to move. Like, so nothing feels wrong. It just we sure did. I kind of thought we were gonna get more Rave Kingdom politics first, before we dived into this. But hey, it's cool. It's neat. I'm really interested in where we're going, and how we're getting out of this mess.
Yeah, I mean, like
I-
speaking to the pacing, like I think there's like just such a stark difference in the pacing between episode 4 and episode 5
Yes.
that's why we don't know how we want the pace to be because it's just like, oh, we're going, we're cruising at 20 miles per hour and then we're hitting a
building a
freeway.
dynamic. Everything's on fire.
But I also think it kind of did that for episode 2 to 3, where like you get into like the dock action. This truly is a Fire Emblem Three Houses in that you have your downtime in the academy where you fuck around for a couple of hours. Then you go and you do a quick battle that lasts. Then it's a Fire Emblem
Professor.
match, so it also lasts a while. But different paces for different elements.
No, Sean, we don't have a fishing minigame though. So is it really like
Not yet.
Bottom of the barrel, sorry, gotta
True.
vote it off now.
still time?
I got another show for you though.
Three houses. Three houses is good.
True.
Oh,
Maybe a couple.
I really enjoy this show. These two are great. I enjoy the politics of it. Again, really weird that it is 14. It is
I'll be
just
specific.
odd. Still don't know how I feel about it, but at least we have a reason for it now.
Also, I'm glad everybody acknowledges it. Like, there's not a single
Yeah.
goddamn person around him who's like, it is really weird that they have to be a child. Please remember, child.
Yep.
And like the kiss thing, everyone's like, "Ooh, that's a little bit weird," and he's like, "I know, but like it worked," and she's like, "No, that was just kind of weird."
Like, it actually just completely didn't work. I also like how it's completely off screen. It is really nice that we get to see
Yeah.
none of it because it would have been really weird.
I like that the entire show though is like, "Hey, that's like kind of not okay," and
No, nothing's okay. This world's fucked.
everything's on
Mhm.
fire. There's an evil possessed spear trying to kill everybody, mainly her though.
I will say, wonderful
I feel like
line.
went from bad to worse, bro.
Wonderful line we get in episode 5 is from her to him, the "You never say my name."
Mhm.
You've never even
He-
said my name.
He sure definitely doesn't ever do that. Very interesting. Does he know it?
Mhm.
He-
He
He
has
is
to.
Amethyst.
Everybody else says her name.
The thing is, he's so obsessed with getting like fixing the curse that he's not really like he. It's weird because like he has moments where he's like super like trying to be like, oh, this person actually loves me. This is wonderful. We could actually like try to like make this into an actual like romantic, meaningful, deep connection with this person. But then kind of goes back and forth on it of like being so hyper fixated on the curse and getting rid of the curse and everything else that he like forgets to like enjoy the moment when it's important to like build that connection with this person other than like, oh, you're under 14 and you get it, good enough for me.
And, like,
We kind of like jump to right away a lot of times.
and at the same time, it's just like he's very hyper fixated on getting rid of the curse, and then he just like goes and does this is definitely what a cursed emperor would do.
Exactly.
Might as well buy into it.
Round up all the women, specifically 14 and older.
What fucking wild play, by the way. Absolutely not on my bingo card for things people were going to do this week in anime. Round up every woman over the age of 14.
Every woman, and child. Wait a minute, you said woman twice. Exactly.
I'm really, really interested in both. Like, I want to understand his mindset more. I really want to, because like I feel like we get Jill. Like we understand her pretty well about like how she makes her decisions, but we just don't know enough about like we don't know enough about what he knows about the dynamic of this consort to know like how much of what he does or says is because he has to or like is bound to. Like we still don't know enough, oddly enough. Like they gave us a bunch of lore about like the foundation of how like the curse kind of exists, but not like
What happened? How did it really get caused?
not
Why
like
him?
what happens when you bring a new consort in, or like this like
What are you going to solve? How is this going to get solved? Like other than just this person exists
Follow me.
now that meets your oddly specific requirements.
I am wondering if we're going to hit a point where we do another time warp, where like we hit another bad end, because we kind of feel like we're close on one.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's
Now
what
she goes back and she's 6 years old.
be crazy. I know. I assume like it would jut her back like before Gerard arrives, because that feels like that would be your checkpoint.
Yeah.
Because again, this feels like a visual novel, but it's not a visual novel. Could be.
Not gonna lie, I'd probably play this visual novel.
Again, I would play this as a tactic game.
The tactical game. Bum, bum, bum.
Do we have additional thoughts?
No, I think we kind of hit a lot of nails on the head with this one.
Yeah, this show just kind of exists.
Okay, Michael, you're up. Mixer time.
Boy. What the fuck even happens at episode 4?
Episode 4 is.
That's a good question, Michael. You tell us.
Episode 4, he gets kidnapped. And
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so they go to the zoo. That's
Oh, yeah.
episode 4.
That was-
That's like the entirety of episode 4,
Mhm.
literally. It's like is the zoo.
yes, my brain
Yeah.
swapped the order of these two. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so episode 4, it starts with Asagi getting kidnapped. To us immediately doing like the quick just flashing back to like it was like the night before where Suo goes, "Hey, we should do a 6-person hangout sesh again. We gotta go. I want to go to the zoo." And then we do a very quick a flash forward to like the really quick speed up to Asagi getting kidnapped again. But then we learn it's the 3 of them in the car. It's Suo, Kohaku, and Fuji. I think it's
Yes.
Yes.
Kohaku's the one I wasn't sure of in that 3.
Yeah.
Because Fuji's really important. Episode 5, we'll get to that.
I should have brain blast because Kohaku's the name of one of Amber's cats that we just showed on stream. And I was like, Kohaku's in the show? Where?
Holy shit.
When did you get in there, little fucking
But yeah,
rascal?
so they go to the zoo, and we learn the reason that Suo wants to go to the zoo is that she really wants to see the panda. Crossover with Villain's Day Off when?
Right.
Already.
Doing more of that show.
So not a whole. I don't remember like a whole ton. So they get there. They all like split off into their group. Their little couple. Asagi and Fuji. They go and do. They go to the insect area. And Asagi's a baby. He is a child. He is scared of the bugs. That they're in the cockroach room. Terrible room. Why is that a thing? That should be deleted from the zoo. But we get this really cute scene where he's like hugging Fuji from behind, and she's like guiding him around. For her to go and start looking at a tarantula, and for a second go, "Oh, we stopped. Are we good?" It looks up, big spider. T-shirts. But yeah, that's it's adorable. Asagi and Fuji's adorable. I love the 2 of them. I don't remember what's happening with Hagi and Kohaku during this. I know the 2 of them are off doing something.
Guinea
They're
pig.
the ones who go to the petting zoo.
Yeah.
They see the guinea pigs or rodent
Bunnies.
of some capacity. Yeah, little fellas.
Don't be bi.
And
don't be
Kohaku
bi,
says
don't
the
be bi,
one
don't be bi. He's casting a spell.
God, yeah, I got Hagi's whole thing where he just like he cannot he's like I can't be bi. It's not possible. There's no way. There's no way.
Can't be
Why
gay.
does this girl who looks like a guy make my heart race? Wait a second. Where we got a cute scene between the two of them where Kohaku's holding a little guinea pig, and Hagi like looks up and you like staring directly at Kohaku says, "That's adorable," or like I don't remember exactly what the
I
phrasing
think you're
is.
right.
Something like that.
He says so cute.
So cute.
He's like so cute. And he immediately backward goes, no, I was talking about the guinea pig, the bunny, or not like you're not cute. And Kaku was like, okay, thankfully I didn't take that the wrong way. He almost it looked like he called me cute there.
Phew.
It was like damn he did. But yeah, that's the cute little scene between them. And then like a big chunk of time is spent with Suo and Tokiwa, where they're out vibing, they're looking at the tigers. Then they find a lost child. Also important thing, all of them are in the drag today as well. Because I think I want to say this was it's Suo. This is one time where Suo explains it as so you guys would recognize us. Because
Sure.
that's how they've seen the three of them.
They just might have been in drag for this one. I don't think they have a particular reason for why they are.
Because I know at some point it is explained that's one of the explanations they do give is so you would recognize.
This
but I
time it
don't
was
remember.
easier to be recognized. I believe you're right on that one.
Oh, but yes. Important. The reason I mention this is that Suo in drag attracts the attention of every single female that has ever existed.
Honestly, fair.
And children.
So, yeah, she's a bigger attraction at the zoo today than the animals. So yeah, her and Toki were kind of vibing. Small girl goes, I can't find my mom or my dad, whichever parent it was. I think it's her dad, actually. Yeah. And so they go, okay, we got to go to the Lost and Found. Or not Lost, but the whatever.
Yeah, the lost and found
So-
child.
Whatever center it would be.
Information center.
Yeah, the information center. So they're sitting there. Tokyo calls. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to go see the panda because the panda's like coming out. It was like a small time, but it's like panda time,
Panda time.
and they're not gonna be able to go to panda
Fucking
time
love panda
because
time.
they gotta stay with the child. And Suo's like, oh, you can go see the panda. Tokyo's like, no, I'm not leaving you alone. That's rude. Why would I do that? Then he leaves her alone anywhere for 5 minutes to go put on a panda mask, and go to the gift shop. So it's adorable. He wears a panda mask that he's very sweaty under because he sprints to the gift shop and sprints back. Gives her a little panda charm and a tiger charm, which we see. Yeah,
Goated.
adorable. Which we see on she has like on her backpack or phone, pocketbook, whatever, in like the end of the episode. Episode 5. Asagi and Fuji time the whole episode essentially. I think episode 4 kind of hits us with the stinger for this, where Fuji's at a convention, selling her manga, and she goes, "Hey Asagi, I need your help." Or Asagi's like, "Hey, I'm bored." She goes, "Come to the convention," and he goes, "Bet," or festival as the term is used, because Asagi's an idiot, and we got to keep our little boy
pure.
Yeah, our pure little boy
He's so
pure.
precious.
And everybody thinks he's precious.
Everyone.
He's dumb
Such
as
a good-
boxer
he's such a
rocks,
good
but
boy.
we love him so
We love
much.
And
Asagi so much.
And the show does sure look at you and go, "Did you think he was a dog yet? Wanna bet?"
Oh,
Right?
it was so fucking funny. This episode was so good.
So Asagi gets there. He's having trouble finding her. He has sent moon runes to try to find her. West 1026A. He's like, "What is this cipher?" Then he goes, "Wait, there's a lot of people around here in like costumes. That's kind of sick." He's like, "Wait, did any of these people know to decipher this?" He's about to go ask someone, where Fuji walks up and just drags him away and goes, "Okay, just so you don't wander off anymore," puts a leash collar on him as he walks him around the convention.
No complaint, by the way. Absolutely no complaint.
Because
No.
This is totally normal.
Head empty.
Fuji again in this scene is in the drag again, which we learned at the end of the episode is so she can stay undoxed. Apparently she's like a pretty popular mangaka here. Like she has like a pretty decent amount of people that come to her booth. But yeah, she's doing booth stuff. Everyone sees the two of them and goes, "Oh my god, they're like so gay for each other. Holy shit, what is?" Because normally,
We found the source.
Fujoshis are generally girls. I think Fujoshi is the BL.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so seeing two guys together in a booth is really crazy.
Selling
to
BL.
them. Especially when Asagi says out loud like 15 times that he helped make it.
Yes.
And it's a great time. Asagi then has to like hold down the booth for a little bit. He's also told he can't read it. He has not gone through training to read this yet.
Every woman in a 50-mile proximity loses their goddamn minds.
I love it. He goes to reach for it. She's like,
Wait.
wait, and then like the other images are just like, he's got a dog collar. He's not been through training yet. What? What is in that book?
But yeah,
So
it's
fucking good.
it's adorable. Oh, we have a little scene where like a big fan comes up and she goes, "Oh my god, are you Fuji-san?" It takes like 2 minutes for him to Asagi finally get a second to speak and goes, "No, I'm not." Anyway, that person is.
What's that behind you?
It's more of like there's like a whole minute. He's like, "Hey, you should like all these things, all these nice things you're saying. She would love to hear this stuff. You should say it." She appears and she runs away. She's like, "Oh no, another hot guy is behind me. That's crazy." But yeah,
And then Fuji gets to escape drag.
yeah. We finally get Fuji in show out of drag outside of like a single picture. So I goes, "Holy shit, that's you." And she goes, "You saw me out of it the one time at the picture." She goes, "Yes, that was like a month ago." They spend the night at. We then cut to the next morning, where they're at the bar, where Kohaku's the bar, and Kohaku calls Suo and goes, "Hey, Fuji hasn't responded yet. She has to pick up a shift today." She goes, "Okay, I'll go get her." Suo goes to Fuji's house, where we learn that Asagi's there. He opens the door. We learned he spent the night. They played drinking games, or they just drank a lot. No, they didn't play drinking. They just went, "We have to try all of this beer, all of it."
Side note: the idea that the like super pure wholesome one can drink like a fucking champion is one of the funniest things ever, because that was also my experience in college. Anyone I knew that was like that.
Much.
You never met my friend Nolan.
Nolan North? You were friends with Nolan North? Michael, continue.
Alright, but we get some cute stuff with them. They go, "Yeah, we drank a lot, whatever." She fell asleep. Then we learn that in the middle of the night, she got a second wind of energy, and then she took pictures of him. More poses of Eepy boy, and he goes, his initial reaction is like, "Oh wow, you took pictures of me, that's awesome." And so he goes, "You should be mad at her for that. What are you doing?"
It's okay to be mad.
It's okay to be mad, but he's just happy.
He doesn't
he's
know
just
how.
happy to be. He's happy to be involved.
It's
He's just the
okay.
best boy. He's
It's
just happy
okay.
to be there.
They were just made perfect for each other. It just
Yeah.
happened. It's just, well, you don't get this often.
To be fair,
Yeah.
they are fucking adorable together. I
Oh,
love these
dude,
two.
they-
Yeah.
They're so
Fuji and Asagi is wonderful.
It's crazy they aren't the main couple of the show.
Yeah.
also,
But we'll
like,
get there.
Fuji has so much fucking game. Holy shit!
Uh-huh.
The bit where she's like leaning out the cracked bathroom door is like,
Yeah.
pulls on his like sweatshirt thing. He's like, you're coming to the bar."
Sue almost fucking
we're
gonna get
dies
some lunch.
again.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then she
they go
gets
to
him
the
to
bar.
feed her.
Yeah, they're at the bar after this. They get Tokiwa to come over. Hagi doesn't want to come because he is still conflicted about his feelings. He doesn't want to see Kohaku. He doesn't know how to feel. He doesn't want to see Kohaku in the drag. It feels like. And they play. I don't remember what the
Word
name is.
association game.
Shiratori.
Yeah, word association. Yeah, Shiratori. whoever blushes first loses. So it's just Shiratari. Word association giver. Got it. And start the next word with the end of the word before it. But you're trying to make the person blush by doing things. I thought the idea was going to be like saying words that do that. No, it's just like it's actually just physically touching the other person in all of these instances. I'm surprised Asagi breaks as fast as he does. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like he'll just kind of sit there and take it because he's a dingus, and he breaks immediately.
I thought they were just gonna go on and then just like end of the episode or even like the start of the next episode. They're still fucking going.
They're still playing.
I love
Also-
that the.
Oh,
Oh,
you
go
can
ahead.
go. No,
I
you
was
can
just,
go.
I was just gonna say, I love that while this is happening, the other two are like, you two got so close, so
So fast.
fast. What the fuck happened?
The power.
Also,
of
Fuji
one.
Asagi's going to
My-
speed running in a relationship right now.
Uh, Mike, are you still going? This is
Alright,
one
so
more important part.
It was just like a small thing during the word association thing. I'm not sure what because like the idea is like, oh, Suo says something and then Tokiwa responds and they go, no, you said the wrong thing.
He just
In
pluralized.
Japanese, he doesn't break the rules.
Well, his logic is he just accepts that he's going to lose, so he comes up with the
He
least
just pluralizes it, doesn't he?
he
No,
he like
it's-
past tenses
so
it.
the actual line is or his word association is that you also lose if you end with a certain letter. Is that also a thing with it? Because I know the subtitles say something different than what's actually said. Because the first word is Ringo, which is apple,
Mhm.
which the subtitles don't say either. Any of the 3 times that word is used, they don't use the word apple.
Mine did.
Oh, mine didn't. Mine used some
Mine did.
nonsense.
That's crazy.
Because
We watched it on the same side.
no, well, the issue is, using the actual translations, you're not going to get the words to line up because apple ends in an e, and they're not using an e for the next word. For there, it's Ringo Gohan, which should have been, which is apple rice. I think it's ending with an N. Maybe also loses, but I was like, what do they mean he lost? He used the correct word there. It starts with go.
Maybe because
whatever.
he uses the same word that it like kind of is like
I mean,
whatever. Who knows?
I don't know.
Japanese is
Whatever.
hard.
I'm English, bro. I don't know shit.
I
I
think
don't
it's
even
a
know
doll.
English.
Oh yeah, and then we're introduced that Suo has a doll of Tokiwa. Danger. She's going to do
No,
disturbing things with
Pog.
Only this show
it. And
could
this
have
doll's in
her.
the opening.
Only this show could have her go. I am going to do dangerous things with this, and me to go. Probably, it's fine.
Yeah.
Move
I'm so
on.
sure
It's gonna be
Tokyo was just like,
hilarious.
Tokyo was like, "You're gonna do terrible things to that doll," and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do
Oh, yeah, I'm
terrible
gonna do
things to this
terrible
doll." And
things
his brain is just like being like thrown, like set on fire, like ripped in half, and like we don't even get to see her thoughts about it. Can we just say that doll is like the cutest fucking thing ever? Though when she just holds it
Yes.
up and it's just got the same expression he does. And she's like, "I had Fuki made it for me." And we see them in the opening, but like
Yeah.
usually a lot of openings will have the cute dolls of the characters like on the counters and stuff, not actually made, and it's so fucking funny. I think it's so. I just look over at Amber. I just go, "Please do not get a John doll." We already have a John Bear, the Build-A-Bear plushie. That's close enough.
Yeah, I thought really great episodes from this show. Wonderful times all around.
God, I was
fucking,
fucking
it's
crying.
it's as high as it is just because it fucking did not miss like just 2 really solid episodes. Great times, great
Mm,
characters,
good
wonderful
time.
interactions. I have no complaints. You won't see me levy anything at it.
Yeah. This show is so weird for me because when I'm not watching it, sometimes I forget it exists. But when I am watching it, it's one of the funniest shows that we have on podcast right now, in my opinion. So I don't quite know how to feel about it yet. I do really enjoy it. I don't think it has any risk of going off this week.
No.
That's fair. What do you think, Austin?
There was, I mean, Michael, did you talk about? I might have missed it, but did you talk about like what happens at the very, very end of episode 5, or did it just like auto skip?
Oh
And I
yeah.
just missed it. And it was like the start of episode 6, and I forgot, and I didn't turn it off in time.
I think there's a little bit of the end of it.
I don't remember.
It's the scene where all 3 guys are just like hanging out together.
Yeah, it happens at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't think I'd watch the post credits for that. So
Yeah, but Austin, what happens there?
Yeah.
I
So
forgot.
I try to remember the exact wording, but like all three guys are just like sitting there chilling, and Hagi's like, Tokiwa, like it's something along the lines of like,
So-
am I
Right.
gay or
Yes.
something like that.
So I remember this. So basically, what happens is they're all sitting there playing video games, and Asagi
Oh, I
and
do remember
Tokyo
this.
are sitting on like beanbags on the ground, and Hagi's on the bed, just like looking real sad. He just goes, "Hey Tokyo, whenever you look at Suo, does your heart race?" And he just dies in the game. It's like, what?
No,
I imagine we're getting a Hagi episode.
I really hope that we get a Hagi episode because we've gotten like a pretty good amount of like the other two, but we just get like very
We get him
of,
like literally
Hagi
like
and Hagi.
bailing on every opportunity to like hang out in a group environment and like chill for a minute because he's pushing out. And his friends need to call him out on this shit.
Yeah, but like, I mean, so what we've gotten of the other two couples are great. Like, I really like the continued additional justifications of like why they're in drag, other
Yeah.
than we just have work today.
I also like that we've gotten them not being in drag, at least two of them, right? Where it's like, hey, they are just they do sometimes just wear normal clothes. It's just they happen to work like most people.
I think we've gotten all.
Yeah.
We got all three, I think.
We've not gotten
We've
Kohaku
not.
yet.
I
we've not
thought.
gotten
I
Kohaku.
thought the whole point was that there was the episode where he lent her his jacket and she wasn't in.
She was still in drag.
Yeah, she's in drag during
They
that.
went
Okay.
after while she was on break.
Okay.
Oh, no,
She
they
was-
just ran into her. That's right.
Yeah,
Fair
he ran into her on
Right.
on her way to work.
Yeah, but like this is just a very nice show that like, we get like the building romance without any of the, drama of like sports or grannies wanting to eat penises and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's just like a very nice contrast with
No
with
weird
all
age
that. But
gap.
I really appreciate it. Yeah,
It's
no
nice
weird
just to
age
relax
gap.
and be wholesome for like 10 minutes, you know?
No wife childs. Double over.
But yeah, I also like just appreciate how like everything's going at like different pace. The three relationships are just going at different paces. I mean, you got Asagi and Fuji just going at like Mach 10, and like Toki was like starting to get it, but like Suo, you gotta be like make
gotta
it
get
any
in there, man.
clearer, and he's just definitely very dense. Although yeah,
Sue just comes out and it's just like, listen, I want to have sex with you. And he's like, in like.
But
in
how
like
do you spell that?
Like a
what kind of
metaphorical
sense?
term?
Like
it's
metaphorically?
that one casually explained video, just like the kid, is she into you? Nah, I think she's just Canadian trying to be nice and
She's just Canadian.
I will say
I know what you're talking about.
I do really like that. I like the premise of the dynamic that Kohaku and Hagi have, which is Kohaku is tomboyish but not actually a tomboy at all. Seemingly is kind of the impression we've been giving. And Hagi apparently has never been a fucking tomboy in his goddamn life. He doesn't know the word exists because he thinks any woman who is slightly a man makes him bi. Which, you know what, good for him.
Every time he's on the screen, all I can think of is that one Lonely Island song that's like about like gay pride, and he just says not gay every other lyric. And it's okay to be gay, not gay. Like, and if I loved a man, which I don't, but if I did,
There's a really good edit here that I don't have the ability to do.
no.
Do we, have
we
any
need
thought-
more scenes for that edit to happen.
I think we can deal
Like
with it.
we need like motivational music in the background too behind me.
But it's just nice and pleasant.
Get in the
It's
car.
always fun, like 25 episodes or 50 if we're procrastinating on another beat,
Stop.
and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a good time.
This is one of the few shows that I just had on. Like, I turned the sound on while I was watching it. Cody ended up watching it with me, and it was just like he hadn't watched the first 3 episodes and just dropped into 4 and 5.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, no, this show's just good. It's just good, wholesome fun. Even when it's not being wholesome, it's still somehow wholesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of wholesome,
Speaking of holes,
Orb.
Orb.
or like a WH.
So we fast forward a number of years from
10.
We 10, right? I was
10
gonna say
years,
we get the
yeah.
confirmation in episode 5.
Yep.
After the 10 years after Rafal ate some poppy seeds and got burnt at the stake. Where we get 2 new main characters, Oki and
Oxy and Grass.
Oxy and Gras. Please give me like easier names to pronounce. Like, thanks.
No, Polish.
Oxy's my goat. We are watching Poland Saga.
I'm not built for that. Oxy and Gras, who are both duelists. And who are basically just like people that are hired to do duels for other people who don't want to die because of a duel. I think that's the way it works. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
Something
much.
like that.
And the scene and they go and they duel a guy who who basically just loses and kind of like begs for mercy. It's just like, killing is bad. You'll probably go to hell if you kill me. And then Oxy just like, nope, stab, dies. And like this, it was like really complicated. I'm trying to like work through my like trying to remember
We
the order of which things
If
happened.
so, he
So Oxy just kind of has like unsureness of like his place as a duelist, and he's like, oh,
we've gotten at the
conversation
episode
is
opens.
so complicated.
The episode opens with giving you the little bit about Oxy having like been interested in the stars, but then getting a very, very like zealot priest or monk essentially telling him like the sky's not for you to look at. The sky is God's domain. Like it looks down upon you. Like it is too
Yeah, right.
glorious for you. And so
we are
that's,
here because we are the peasants of the
yeah,
universe.
and
basically.
you get the visual of the eyes all looking down on him from the sky that he references later, and the idea is that he is basically told there is nothing worth living for in life. What matters is that you go to heaven or you go to hell. And so that like very much paints his being in that like he doesn't have like direction besides being very hyper focused on death.
Getting to heaven, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like after Oxy wins the duel, he kind of just has this like continued issue with just like, did I do the of not knowing whether or not like he wants to stay on this earth. What's the point of living if the goal is to end up in heaven, and so on. And Gross is just like, the world is like perfect in like different ways, and I'm trying to remember
that's when he shows him the observations.
yeah. And then they go to a bar, and then and after just like this slight altercation with like one of the other people at the bar, to which Oxy just like profusely apologizes. Gross just shows him like his observations of the path of Mars, and how for the past like 10 months or so, it's gone like in a circle, but is almost complete. It's just like 90 to 95% of the way around the circle, and it's just like, you know what, there is beauty in nature in the sky as well, because like the path of Mars is about to create a perfect circle, and like just use that as an example. And then they find out that Mars had stopped moving on that day, and eventually in a couple days starts going backwards, because
It doesn't go backwards. It veers off the path that it had.
yeah,
It's
it's
basically
like
going to make a
it's
perfect
like,
circle, and then it's almost like it's not rotating around the Earth or something. That's weird.
yeah, and it just goes just off the path, but definitely not being a perfect circle anymore. And then they are assigned by our old friend Nowak, who now has a dashing beard, to take this heretic out for, take him
Outback.
behind the shed. So the heretic is in one carriage with Oxy and Gross, and Noak's just like sitting in the carriage behind them. And they get into this conversation where the heretic just kind of reveals, just like, "Oh, you guys," he says a lot of of blasphemy. Let's put it that way. And he just continues to rile up Gross and Oxy with just like, "Hey, you guys are just putting blind faith in heaven when you don't even know it exists," and typical stuff that'll get you killed in the 1500s. And eventually Gross just like slashes down, and instead of like killing the heretic, he cuts him loose, and Oxy was just like, "The fuck are you doing?" And Gross
Bad
points
idea.
points his his weapon at Oxy. And the next episode starts with Noak and the other guy that I cannot did they ever introduce him?
Damien.
Damien, right. Looking up, just like, "Hey, the writer for that carriage just in front of us just kind of jumped out.
Took a dive.
That's kind of odd. I don't think he's supposed to do that." And now it's like, I don't want to do this, but I guess I have to." And so he shoots the horse and causes the carriage to just tumble end over end, and they get into a confrontation where Oxy is just like, "It wasn't me. I didn't do anything." And Noak's just like, "I don't believe you." Pulls out a pacemaker. Is like, what does it say in the rule book about like unconditional
fucking
about like
wild.
surrendering?
Oh,
And
Best judgment.
use your best judgment. Fuck,
I gotta judge.
dude.
Oh, that's decision making. I don't want to do this. I've actually decides to stab him, but the heretic goes and takes the stab for him, and then Noak then throws his weapon at Oxy, which is deflected by Gross, and then they both make it out, and we get like and then they start on up a mountain that was referenced by the heretic, and they find like two pieces of like two letters, one that was like by the heretic about like what he found, and then one that was a letter from 10 years prior. And the heretic's letter basically just directs them to where Rafal's old research was on the middle mountain of Orion's belt, and then they go up there, which is the last scene of episode 3.
Small
They-
correction.
No.
You want it, Mason?
Yeah. So they find the letter in the cache that had all the research notes.
It
They
is
found
the
false
grave.
notes.
It is Rafal's notes.
Oh, okay, it's
So
Rafal's note,
what
yeah.
it is the heretic's recounting how he found it in the note.
Okay,
And
yeah,
then the other note is Rafal's note that we saw him place in before, which is why it says, "If you make profit off this research, some of it deserves to go to my dad."
Give it to this church, basically.
It's
Yeah.
his dad.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, right?
Is
It's
that-
to Pataki. It's to the
Adopted.
father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's adopted dad, right?
Well,
And then they find the old
So they're trying to get back to town because they want to. The only way they see to get out is to continue. Is either to go and report that they found the research,
Yeah.
or go to the one priest in town who's kind of a heretic.
yeah.
Is a heretic.
So they're making their way back to the village they're from, which is what the end of the episode is.
Yeah, and as they're crossing like the bridge, one of the bridges to go back into town, the bridge collapses, and Gross is hanging like off the edge, and Oxy's just like trying to save him, and in the middle of this tense moment, Gross is like, "Here's your second option," and just trying to
By the way,
giving
there's
a sec-
another way out.
"Here's another way out,"
Find
and
this
Oxy's just
other
like,
priest.
it's not time for that. We need to we need to get you up here. And then Gross falls to his death. And then the episode ends with Oxy walking in to for a meeting with one of the Inquisitors.
Well,
Bedeni.
he
It's the monk,
he arrived at the church to find the monk that he told him
Yeah.
about, basically.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I am certain I'm going to love that character as soon as we get any sort of screen time with.
So I wanna quick dive in, because I have this lowest of anybody, and the real premise for this for me is, on a PR standpoint, on the week, these episodes are not bad. This is like watching the first 2 episodes of a new anime, in a way, in that you have an entirely new set of protagonists and you're setting up the new plot. But also, some of this is already stuff we've treaded in the first 3 episodes, which is kind of like you're retreading the same themes with new characters to get them wrapped in, right? So, like, it's very slow. A lot of the points we're touching on are things we've kind of touched on already. So it just loses its edge there. I'm also gonna be a little critical of just. I understand the point is we're trying to make the central character here Oxy, but boy, we just write off Gross real hard in a real convoluted manner. The bridge falls, and they hang together, and he fucking hangs by the string of his neck. Dude, that scene is perhaps one of the most
Yeah.
unbelievable scenes I've seen in a show that is very scientific and like based on realistic fiction, like based on history and made into a realistic fiction anime. It's like you lose me a little. But like overall, a lot of the stuff that's here is really good, and I'm excited to see where the show goes. It's just like I thoroughly enjoyed more episodes from other stuff this week than this because this felt very. We have to restart slow pace for me.
Yeah. And like the first 3 episodes were just like its own condensed story, and like and it had a very like it had a very incredible climax, and pulling to a fresh start really really slow. Like the pacing, like it's fine, but just the turnaround was just like a little bit jarring still,
Mhm.
but it's understandable based on how they presented the story.
Absolutely agree.
It's just fucking cool.
Like, Orb is really neat.
Yeah.
Like it presents a
Yeah.
lot of really interesting content and it really makes you think. But it's definitely one of those shows that like I have to be like in the right mindset to sit down and watch because it's like I gotta be in like I gotta lock in a little bit mode to like really follow like some of like the higher level like thinking and like stuff going on in the show and like the difficult questions these characters have to ask and these difficult points where it's like, is it worth risking everything for this, right? Like my entire life, my well-being, my possibly your family, things like that, um for an idea that is inherently crazy, right? um so yeah, I like where the show's going, and I'm looking forward to watching more of it because it really is just like captivating to see how these characters like kind of interact with one another and kind of slowly progress like this ideal, right? Over like years and years and years and years and years of like secret undercover research almost.
I really like so there's a few that I think stuff with Oxy and Garage, just like generally the two of them like the mentality
Yeah,
they
no,
have
I
to
do
go
really
through.
like their stuff.
I think that's just fucking great.
Mhm.
I really like that we already have a visual for what the orbit of a planet would look like from Earth because we got that visual with Rafal back in episode 1. When he's doing the visual on the ground, it shows they do that weird fucking spiral thing around the Earth, which is what the Mars is about to visibly do because it does its double back. It's going to start to do its next portion of a circle. It's really cool that we already know this. We can know that's what the orbit's going to look like. So
Mhm.
we know immediately. We go, oh, that's why it's not going to look so because we've seen it. We know what that visual is actually going to end up being. Yeah. The show's just cool. I just want to watch more of the show.
Yeah, I am entirely with Michael on this. I fucking adore everything that the show is doing. It's just it's hard to put into words.
It
Just-
Show
the
makes my
eye
brain go
visuals with
brr.
Oxy,
No,
with
really
like
cool.
the sky looking down at him. It's every time a scene happens in the show, and I go, "Oh, that's something shown in the opening," and I go, "Oh my god, it's
Oh
Mhm.
no!
it's just so good."
Yeah, don't let my PR thoughts this week cloud over the fact that this show is like still a top 3 top 3 top 4 show. Like it's just that
Mhm.
other shows had really stellar weeks this week for like where they had to move their show. Was how I felt.
Sure,
I get that.
show
Also-
good.
Also, man, I
Sure
picked a
is.
really complicated show to have to talk about for my first season on the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, Austin. It
I
happens.
mean-
Fuck.
Sometimes brain's got a brain.
Sometimes you pick Sonny Boy.
I'm not built for that.
Dude, Sonny Boy, monkey baseball
I
was
mean-
certainly something I had to talk about every week.
Look, monkey
No,
baseball is
let's
irrelevant.
hold on. Let's clarify. You did not have to talk about monkey baseball every week. You had to talk
You
about
talked
it
about that.
Every
one
week
week.
after the second
No,
week, I had to
he-
talk about that
he
shit. Don't lie.
Had to talk about it 1 week. He chose
No, we had to
to
talk about it every week.
Every week.
If I did not talk about it every week, it would have been sacrilege.
True.
Monkey baseball.
Monkey baseball is
Monkey
one of,
baseball.
I'm gonna give you the
monkey
role.
baseball
Please,
is one of
monkey
the best
baseball.
episodes I've
Monkey
ever. Like,
baseball is my new role.
it's one of the best self-contained episodes I've ever watched.
Monkey baseball.
Mason. Beyonce's.
Yeah. Okay. So Yakuza Fiance this week. So episode 4 is the resolution of Shoma, I believe his name is. Basically being like kicked out of Tokyo and being told to go home. Because things are fine with Hiroshima, we promise. There's a little like small, basically dick measuring contest between Shoma and Kirishima. Of I love her more. No, I love her. Fuck you. Fuck you. Anyways, Shoma ends up leaving and hugs. I'm blanking.
Checks.
Yoshino. Sorry.
I feel
I
that.
watched this
No.
today and I'm
Hey.
still having one.
Happens to all of us.
He ends up leaving, hugs her on the way out, and Kirishima sees this.
Do you want me to?
Yeah,
Just for speed's sake.
yeah, for sure.
That's
I
that's
guess we
it, and we're only doing this because John needs to go. Needs to
Yeah.
sleep
Sorry,
for
I do work in the morning, so I asked him to just move a little faster. I apologize.
Yeah.
For...
So he
No,
gets
it's completely
We made the line. This is a really long episode.
He gets-
Been
John,
going for
I've
an hour.
also done this thing before. It's
yeah.
fine.
He gets like very like in her zone and just kind of hype. Like she realizes something is up. He's upset about something. I don't personally remember the resolution to this part of the episode. But then she gets sick. And
Yes.
so he breaks into her house, knows she's getting sick. She doesn't want to go to the hospital because she hates hospitals.
Breaks
Which
into
then
her
raises some questions in his mind about how she got the kidney taken. And so he winds up taking her to the hospital anyway because he doesn't give a fuck. We also find out at the end of this episode that he is actively talking with her grandfather, which we find out because Shoma is spying on him to figure out what's going on. The next episode, then we get to meet Yoshino's cousin Tsubaki,
Tsubaki. Yep.
who is like a princess in multiple different ways.
And a kidney sale.
I can handle.
This is a pretty quick
this one.
episode.
Yeah, this one's pretty quick. They end up hanging out with her, and she very much clearly seems to know more than what she lets on. Her and Kirishima have a talk, and it basically comes down to, I don't like you. I don't like you either. We should go on a date. They end up bringing Yoshino to a taxi, and then Kirishima says that he's going to walk Tsubaki home. They end up going on a date on a Ferris, and they go on a Ferris wheel where they have a discussion about how, so Yoshino is like, while she is from a Yakuza family, is not very versed in the Yakuza world, and especially not the one in Tokyo. It's really hard to sell a kidney. I know. So I know that your parents run a medical group. So she probably went to you about it. But when I checked her, when I was taking her to the hospital, she had a way smaller scar than she probably should have for getting a kidney removed. which makes me wonder, did you actually fucking take that kidney, or did you just hand her 4 million? Yeah. She goes, surprised you figured that out. No, I didn't take the kidney. I took a liter and a half of blood instead. Still have it. Reason why? Can't really tell you that.
Well, she said
do have it.
blood's more valuable, is what it comes down to.
Fair. But they end up having this discussion, and then that's
She
basically
she threatens him. She threatens him that if he winds up not being good for Yoshino, she's gonna basically take Yoshino away, do plastic surgery on her, so he can never find her again.
She will
They
disappear.
Yes.
they trade contact info, and he gets a sexy picture of Yoshino at a beach, and
and
she gets a photo of Grandpa.
Yeah, because she's really into the grandpa for some reason, even though that's
Because her mom
also
was
her
really
grandpa.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff in this episode. There's a lot of stuff spurs throughout these 2 episodes. For me, I'm just so like I'm still not really sold on this show because I'm not particularly invested in like the intrigue of like the behind the scenes of all the webs we're weaving. Nor am I a particularly big fan of these two's dynamic because to me they feel like they bounce too far between the extremes of like of not wanting the relationship and wanting the relationship. Like and that's just me. I just like this dynamic and the way it's being done just isn't something I'm enjoying
Rubbing you the
as
wrong way.
much. But I don't think this is a bad show either. I just think it's down there as like the things that I am fine not watching more of. I really liked episode 5 though. I'll give it. I really like the banters in episode 5.
Episode 5 is way better than the past couple of episodes have been, in my opinion.
A lot of our shows really benefited this week from having their episode 5s with their 4s. I feel like
I really
Yes.
like the new characters they keep introducing.
I think there's
right?
one
'Cause
exception.
I like this character who's like friends with her and clearly cares about her friend and is like, hey, you're Yakuza and I get it, but like if you fuck her over, I'll fuck you over beyond anything you've ever seen before.
And my eyes are special. They're a new shape.
And also, like you mentioned, very important drop that like him and the grandpa have been talking about this, which means something is up that we don't know about. Which, again, either you love it or you hate it. It just shows like these are gonna do that.
Yeah.
It's just what it comes down to, and we'll see where it basically takes us.
Yeah,
'Cause unfortunately, we're kind of at the whims of what the show wants to tell us.
there's been inklings that like his family's actively actually working against him, and like keeping an eye on him
And trying to kill him, possibly.
maybe. So like this doesn't
Ooh.
necessarily surprise me, but
Yeah.
Michael,
Yoshino's really cool. I like Yoshino. She's fun.
Yeah.
Really not a
Yeah.
fan of
Kirishima.
don't remember his name.
Kirishima.
Kirishima. He's kind of just some of his stuff just is a lot. I get him like pulling out all the shit, going like pulling out the receipts in episode 5. Sick. In the Ferris wheel was awesome.
Mhm.
The rest of
Oh.
the episodes kind of whack. The 2 of them were kind of whack together.
Also, wild reveal that he met her a very long time ago. Like before all this bullshit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
comes in episode 5 during the Ferris wheel conversation, and I'm not. Look, that's very by the book romance that I'm like, commit to either being fucked up and out here with a Yakuza love story, or do a by the book romance. Don't try to mingle both for me. Like I don't like the idea of, well, I've always loved her. Like that's the whole thing. I'm trying to show her what true love really could be. No, you were a fucking asshole in episode 1 who quite literally was ready to throw her to the wolves after you. Like
Literal wolves too.
do one of the
Yeah.
that's where it loses me.
That's fair. I don't hate this show. I just don't care.
You like this a lot
Yeah.
though, Austin, or at least a fair
Uh,
amount.
I really like Yoshino and I really like Tsubaki. I'm not sold on Hiroshima as a character, and I'm not sold on the romance, but I'm also sold on Shoma's appearance. So there's a lot of like, yeah, a good amount that's like I'm pretty happy with, and then Hiroshima exists. and that is the thorn in my side. And that is the thorn in my side because I just cannot be invested in this character, or the way that he interacts with Yoshino. I think that the scenes that the scenes and the conversations that he's had with Tsubaki, somebody who's like also kind of fucked up, that was cool. Like,
Mhm.
you two definitely go together
Yeah.
a little bit more than Hiroshima and Yoshino, but like obviously we know who the main couple is going to be, so it takes me away from that too.
Yeah.
I think I always have a problem with romances where the idea is inherently toxic,
like forced.
like not even necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be the guy, but it often is, like inherently toxic person who we're going to slightly drain parts of the toxic out of so that he's just the right amount of asshole that we think it's acceptable for our readers to be fine with the romance hitting it off.
Sometimes
Right?
you don't gotta fix him.
And that's when we drop him from the show.
Like,
Just like kill him off, right?
Odd comparison,
Maybe.
this is what makes like Pride and Prejudice a really interesting romance novel, is that like Darcy himself comes off like that, but is actually almost an entirely separate character who does the things he does because he has a very interesting understanding about how society works, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of the agency in that novel goes to the female lead in figuring that out. Not a direct fair comparison, but like when you're talking about
generalization,
talking about taking a male character who is not supposed to be immediately likable and turning him into a good romance partner in a story, that's generally a reason why it's such a great novel, you know.
I definitely think I put this one a little bit too high this week, but for me, like after like Blue Box and Dandadan, a lot of those shows kind of all like are like that middle
Yeah.
section is kind of all together for me right now, and nothing's really like fully separating out from that pack yet. At least from what I've watched to this point. So I hope to see a little bit more like differentiations in these shows as they keep going, because for me right now it's still like a really tight middle of the pack with like
Yeah.
two, like I said, two main shows that are like really like above and beyond everything else right now.
I have a
at least
strong
from what I've been
top
watching.
pack for me. Like there's a strong top pack, and then there's a middle, and then we have trickled a couple things to a bottom for me, I think.
Also, I will say the cheating Netarare talk in episode 4, kind of weird.
Yeah.
You can hook up with whatever guy you want. Let me watch, and then I kill him.
Honestly, kind of based though.
What?
Kind of based.
All I'm saying is that Kazuya would never.
Right. Yeah.
Kazuya Mishima.
Hey, it's not banned in this server, probably. I don't know. Let me read the rules real quick.
Also absolutely wild open air cafe conversation of, are you two just gonna fuck right here in front of me? Yoshino says to them, and they go, well, we could, which is
They
crazy.
should have.
They've
But you
shown
should've
it
been like-
before.
Right now, I got the camera.
Let's move our way into our last show of the night. I'm gonna very quickly post this screenshot into the group chat to remind everybody that if you forgot, this did indeed happen in episode 4.
U-Haul?
No, not that. That wasn't.
Kirito?
So
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be
that was
real.
funny.
I'm gonna be real brief about it. I think Negative Positive Angler is probably a show that gets done the dirtiest by having its episode 5 paired with its 4, because episode 4 is fucking wonderful as a
So
Hana
good.
focused episode. Where we learn a lot about Hana. We learn that her parents are divorced. I believe, yes, her parents are divorced. Her mother's remarried, and she's chosen to move out and live in her grandmother's owned store in the back of it, where it has her bedding and stuff, and like an upper area where she can sleep, and basically a living space in the back, basically. We get a really great interaction where Hiro doesn't really understand any of the fishing things in the store, so Hana helps him out, and then Hana can't do simple math. So
But she can do fishing math.
yeah, she can do fishing math. In fact, she's fucking insane. Also, we learned she's in high school, which makes this dynamic a little weird. But also, Hiro has actually shown no interest in her at all, so maybe we're fine. Which I think almost moves this show out of a romance, and which maybe good for it. Maybe it doesn't need to be that.
I don't think it needs to be.
No. But we get some wonderful moments with Hana. We see her daily life. We see her hair functions in ways that I don't think it physically should, but you know what? I'm down for it. It's great. She
It's
has
a-
it. She balls
an
it up
orb.
into a big old orb when she sleeps, and then she undoes it, and then occasionally she turns it into pigtails, but she balls parts of the pigtails. She crazy out here.
I dig it. I'm not gonna lie. I dig
I
the
love it.
different hairstyles.
Yes.
We have a
The-
really odd scene in the convenience store where she's talking to some of the other associate, and Koze's there, and Koze turns into a dog or a fox or something, and you could have told me at the end of episode 4 that she's secretly a spirit in disguise, and I would believe you. Because that seems fucking wild and appears out of nowhere. We get a lot of Hana sleeping in class because she wakes up mad fucking early to go fish because she's on that grind set.
I love the bit where she's in class and feels the teacher like coming to walk by, and just sits up.
Immediately
Teacher
falls
walks
back
past,
down.
immediately
She fucking
down.
melts into the desk. She then takes her out fishing to teach her some basics between different types of fishing: lure, bait, another one that drops deep into the ocean. I don't remember the actual term for it, but it's fine because it happens. And then she leaves Hiro to fish, just using the simple techniques she's shown him, and then she goes fucks off and fishes in an entirely separate area and gets super good catches. And then Hiro goes, "Wait a minute. Why didn't I catch anything but you did?" And she goes, "Well, you were using a poor technique for the area we're fishing and the type of fish we're going for." And he said, "But you told me to use that." And she goes, "I guess you're not so smart when it comes to fish, ha, loser." Because she's a fucking high school child gremlin, and I love her because she's getting her comeuppance for the convenience store bit. She is maybe the most hyperfixated on fishing out of any of these characters. Episode 5, we get to meet Koze, who I don't think is a problem. I actually think episode 5's problem is maybe Hiro himself, but we'll get into that in a minute. We're gonna start getting into it. So Hiro finds Koze kind of cute, and she wants to go shopping because the gang's just got their paycheck. And in the back of Hiro's mind, he goes, "I should save this paycheck because my homie Takaki, is going to kill me if I go and spend this money on anything but repaying my debt and paying rent." And then they're at a fishing shop, and Koze looks real cute to him, and he goes, "I should buy everything she wants. I should buy things she doesn't want. I should buy things she wants me to buy for me." And then he gets home, and Takaki goes, "What the fuck were you doing? Did you even stop to think?" And he goes, "Not really, no, I'm sorry." And Takaki goes, "Next time you do this, I'm confiscating your paychecks, you fucking idiot." And then they go out fishing a bit, and he's talking to Koze, and he's like, and you know, they're talking about why they fish, and Koze's like, "Well, I fish because the person I love really loves fishing, Hana." And Hiro's like, "Yeah, cool. I'm glad you're such good friends. I'm not gonna worry about that. You're so adorable and cute. Teach me how to fish, please. We're bait fishing." We have a scene where we learn that Koze has fried the neurons in her brain so that when she has to touch bait, it's not real. She doesn't think, she just does. She destroys bugs.
Don't think.
Yeah, just like wild. And we get some more fishing times with them. A major crux of this episode is that Hiro wants the high grade equipment because he thinks it'll make his fishing better. It kind of does. This is an odd theme of this episode, where the answer is, yeah, your equipment and your tools are actually important, and the money you invest in it actually does matter.
It can pay off.
We get a story from Takaki about him and his brother growing up, and about him passing down his old equipment to his brother, and investing in new and good equipment that makes it feel like it's a part of him to help him fish, because he just loves to fish. He gives an analogy where he's like, you love because you have passion, you fish because there is fish. And Hiro goes, "Don't you mean you fish because there's an ocean?" He goes, "Yeah, that's what I said, right? You fish because there's fish." I think that bit's really funny. And then it happens again. Hiro's in the shop looking at this reel, and Koze shows up and is like, "If you want it, you should buy it because you should do the things you're passionate about." And so he buys it. And so Takaki goes, "I'm confiscating all of your paychecks forever. What the fuck are you doing?" And Hana has a moment where she goes, "Koze, isn't this kind of your fault?" And in the back, Takaki goes, "It's not Koze's fault. This is your fault, Hiro. You should know better. You're an adult. You should know how to control your money, and you don't." At which point, then Hiro's like, "You're right. Would you do me a favor, though?" And they go out fishing. And then, for what I can only explain as really making sure you know that Hiro is not a good person yet, Takaki's like, "Can I try out the new reel on your rod?" And Hiro goes, "No, it was fucking expensive. Why would I let you use it?" After Takaki has earlier in the show let him use all of his equipment that he values as part of
Well,
as
and it's
sees as a part of
home.
him. Yeah, literally as like another part of him letting Hiro use it to get him to let him fish to have a good time.
It's a funny bit, but it's like also like, come on, man,
I
bro.
think this episode really makes Hiro look pretty bad. But I think the idea is that Hiro's not a great person. He's not a good person. That's why he
No,
keeps
I
getting
mean-
himself into this mess. Like he doesn't have people because he has bad tendencies, and those bad tendencies push people away, and he pushes people away. I will say I really like what these 2 episodes do with the supporting cast. I think Kosei is
Oh,
an
yeah.
interesting character who has some fun bits. I really adore Hana throughout these 2 episodes. She is fucking fantastic.
Absolute bean tier.
I think that these 2 episodes would benefit from being switched. If episode 5
Yeah.
was episode 4 and episode 4 was episode 5, it would make a lot more sense for like, Heroes like, general growth
Yeah.
to be like, okay, he just went from being helped by Takaoka in episode 3 to continuing to have issues in Takaoka being like, okay, we got to put the hammer down, and then getting more invested in like the techniques being taught by Hana in episode 5. That would make way more sense.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. That also probably mirrors in my mind where I'm like, you have a pair of 2 episodes, and I feel like 5 does more harm for the set than than the good that 4 does. And I think you're right. I think if you moved it
Flip them.
around, you could still have the exact story you have in 4, where Heroes really tries to start to learn more. And like it doesn't, you don't lose anything besides the fact I guess they wanted you to know more about Hana before they introduce the character who's in love with Hana. That's like the only kind of idea I can have, and also you want him to have a little bit better understanding of fishing before he goes and buys this really expensive reel. That might not be the right word, by the way. I don't think it is. Is it the reel? It's the reel?
Yeah.
Okay. My brain wasn't sure.
As the one who actually probably has, I don't know how many. You guys ever fished before? Really?
Yes, but I never caught anything. I was really bad at it.
Okay. So that's the one who probably has the most fishing experience here. It's funny that I am like the least big on the show, because like I said, I found like the main issue, like again, it's like the main character feels like he's really kind of just unlikable a lot of times, which I know is half the point of the show, but it feels like every time he has like a moment of growth, he also just like doesn't really feel like he gets anywhere with it, right? And we also have this big thing hanging over his head where it's like he's just dying, right?
So my response to that is, hey John, you watch Naruto, right?
Some of it.
There's my point.
But
No, I can get not being sold on this.
Yeah, I do too.
My hope is that a little more time with this, and maybe if you aren't sold, you'll come around, and if you don't, it's not everybody's cup of tea. But I do really like this show.
I adore the show.
Episode 5, just Tsunehiro, we legitimately get the worst possible version of him for all 20 minutes of the episode. And it's just, it's hard to get through episode 5 because of that. Because he's just, I'm like, oh, like he like sees the whatever the fuck, the exceed when he's first there. I'm like, oh, wow, it's like, cool, it's gonna be a thing he can like push for when he's done with his debts. It's gonna be like the big thing. Like episode 12, he finally gets to buy the exceed.
it's the big fancy reel.
And then episode 5 ends with him just buying it and it being. I was like, what?
Oh,
Because like episode 5 has the bit where he uses Takaki's rod and he goes, yeah, the rod Takaki has is probably a third of the price, and realistically is 97% of the rod that the other one is. It's like a very minor difference for triple the price. And just like, I don't get it.
bro, you were so
So
He doesn't gain anything here outside of him no longer having free money to spend because he's that much of an idiot with his money.
So
I guess that's not even that bad with his money.
that's the thing, is he has so many issues with impulse control. That's why he goes to the fucking pachinko
Yeah.
parlor.
I think
Is
the
he-
It's also the
Go
fact
ahead.
that it at the beginning doesn't make it feel like it's an impulse control thing. It's like, oh, he sees Kozue and he is infatuated with this girl, and I'm just like,
But it
It's
kind of
just
it kind of
fucking
goes hand
bad.
in, it does kind of go hand
Yeah.
in hand, the
Yeah.
idea of it. But what I'll say, I think the drawback to it is by the end of the episode you don't get a payoff to like his bad, like you don't get anyone chastising besides Takaki going, I'm now controlling your paychecks. You don't get someone like having a real like there's no growth or conversation about it. Instead you end on what is a really harsh like character moment of, I'm not gonna let you touch something I spent a lot of money on. Why would I do that? That'd be dumb.
It
Bro.
just kind of feels like it builds up to a bit when it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps.
It's trying to hit a punchline that you're like, but like that kind of he kind of just sucks for that, right?
he's sitting here just kind of being an ass. I don't like. It feels like we're trying to build us kind of like rooting for him and seeing him grow, and he just hasn't shown any growth yet,
Which is why
and that
I
sucks.
I am interested to see what this does next week in particular because of that. Because like I want to see. I imagine the problem is I imagine we're probably going to be rolling out cast is what we're going to be doing for the next episode or two, and then we're going to spend the back half of this actually talking about Hero's problems and working to resolve them. Because that structure feel like this is an anime original, like that structure feels like how you could do it to close this, which means it might not do as good of a job as I would like to like sway other people, because if you're not sold on the new characters and Hero doesn't make any changes, like if we're saving Hero become like moving towards some kind of resolution with what he had with all the shit he's got going on to the very end, like it's not going to be as enjoyable of a middle for a show that you might want. So like that is an area I would have hesitation for it, but I'm hoping it turns it around. I definitely don't think this is at the ballpark to send off though for me. Especially because I fucking adored episode 4.
For sure.
And ladies and gentlemen, I have the results in. Now give me a minute while I do a quick clue. Fuck is that? What does that mean? Shows that have full saves. Don, Blue Box, All Guys Mixer,
Dun, dun,
Orb.
dun.
Shows that have one sleigh, Sumo Show. Shows that have two sleighs, Angler, Damsel.
I'll take.
I think
I'll take.
did someone accidentally do that?
Michael.
Crazy.
What?
Did I do that? I don't think I did that. Crazy.
Austin, how
Um,
could you?
Shows with additional.
betrayed. Look at that fucking
shows
grin.
Shows with more than two sleighs. Yakuza Fiance has 3. Mecha Ude has 4.
Wow.
And Grieving Soul has 5. So this is a Grieving Soul Mecha Ude vote off.
It's weird hearing 3 and being like, wow, everybody besides 1. Nope, 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the whole dynamic of it. Yeah, no, I mean, I will say it. You could argue that this is a Mecha Ude vote off because I slayed Mecha Ude. That's a way to look at it. Because I certainly could not have done that and it would have tied. Because realistically, I thought about that. There was just too much here for me to like. I think realistically, as much as I'm gonna want to probably keep watching Mecha Ude, and I think it is in a spot that isn't bad. Like it had 2 episodes that just did not win me over. And there's some other stuff cooking that I'm at least. I mean, I also still voted Yakuza off. Don't get me wrong.
I also did.
That slate also came.
I picked not great shows this season. I understand that. It's fine.
I don't even think that's necessarily true. I just think you're in a season with some absolute high quality bangers, and then shows that are very
Middle of the packy.
not even that, but like very specific to what they're trying to do, right? Like,
Mhm.
like again, I don't think Yakuza or Mecha Ude are bad. I just think I honestly think Mecha Ude is problem might just be maybe it didn't need to be adapted into a 12-episode anime. Maybe it needed a different take, and that just wasn't something that could be done. I'm curious about. We are getting this manga translated in April of next year. Like volumes are gonna come out in English. I'm maybe interested in checking that out to see what that looks like. Because I really wonder if the source material matches point for point, or if it basically its entirely own story that's just going off, continuing. That's an odd thing I'm curious about. But yeah, so that means Mason and I both have one show next week. Let's go, Mason. You and me, baby. Let's go. You could argue. You could argue. I also didn't pick some some strong shows depending on your perspective. I know you and I really like Angler though.
Yeah.
We're Angler buddies.
I mean, it's
Mason.
also just gonna happen because we only have 2 shows
Yeah.
now. So like,
Yeah. Well, Mason had 3
it's
because
gonna
of a
happen a lot
wheel.
earlier.
But do you really consider
oh, true.
Hagakure a show?
No, it is the Wheels show.
Yeah, Hagakure is
That's
more like an
independent show.
experience than a show.
Yeah.
Mason is the embodiment of the wheel.
I am. I usually roll it.
That's true.
So.
Yeah.
Me and Michael smiling over here thinking, yeah, Michael picked some stellar fucking shows, and then we look at Sumo Show tilting on the edge of, will this show fucking suck major ass next week? Tune
Or
in
will
to
it
find
jump
out.
off the fucking cliff?
Tune in to find out if Sumo Show opens with "That's my wife," and we all immediately close browser.
Will negative positive angler take an absolute nosedive off the breakwater next week?
Be
Maybe.
careful.
Let's
He already
see.
took a nosedive into the water.
True. He's gonna keep doing it. Maybe.
Well, nope, never mind.
But, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna be what wraps the podcast. We will be back sometime next week. Hopefully, that's the plan. Schedule's pending. And then, not this Thursday, because that's Thanksgiving, and it definitely was why I planned it that way. But the Thursday after, I will be live with a bi-weekly news podcast. That's the name of it. It's a
Ooh, go
bi-weekly
Sean.
anime and manga news podcast. It's a bi-weekly anime manga podcast. That's what I call it. There's no fancy name. That's just what it is. And then perhaps, maybe, we'll talk more next week. But I might have something secret planned for Thursday, December 12th. Who knows what it could be? There's nothing in particular happening on that day, surely, that I might have an idea for. But we'll see.
Don't be planning shit. and
Yeah, I
stuff.
do. Everybody have a great night, though, and we will see you next week.